Ladies and gentlemen, Oklahoma is no longer a state.
Whoa. It's just smaller.
Just smaller. A lot smaller.
A lot smaller.
A lot smaller. Yeah, Supreme Court ruled today, for those that don't know, that half of Oklahoma is a Native American reservation. And it's funny because depending on who you ask, they're going to tell you two different things. And I'm going to tell you right away that my reading of this as a not lawyer is, you know what? It's so shocking. I'm just laughing. So listen, I think right now.
I'm not laughing about it.
We are literally dealing with this cultural revolution, like Trump said.
Yep.
And so you have people in media saying, no, calm down. No, it's totally okay. It's just they're only talking about crimes. The state of Oklahoma is totally normal. Meanwhile, the state of Oklahoma is like, if you do this, you will cleave our state in half. You will take away tax revenue. You'll put us at risk and uncertainty. And then everyone else, and then you get the media going, shh, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Give them their land back.
And lose your representatives in government.
There are so many implications to this ruling, whether or not the Supreme Court said it was only pertaining to federal crimes or not. If this land is a Native American reservation, it impacts congressional representation, taxes. It represents who can be held accountable for crimes. And we're getting a narrative from, I don't know, there's two narratives. The state is certainly freaking out.
I'm sure.
Because I think they realize they just lost their jurisdiction. And I'm seeing a lot of comments from people saying, no, it's fine. And I'm like, well, I guess you got to pick which one you think is really going on. If you read the media on the left, they're like, this will just mean that in instances of prosecutions for major crimes, the federal government will handle it. But then if you actually read what the state is saying, they're like, we have just lost our state.
Yep.
It's gone. It's Muskogee Nation now. But anyway, that's what we're going to get to in tonight's episode of TimcastIRL. I am Tim Poole, your host. Joining me tonight for today's episode,
as always, is his co-host, Adam Krigler. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. How are you tonight? And also we have...
Oh, yeah, Sour Patch Lids. Hi, I'm producing over here.
And make sure, as always, to...
smash that like button.
What was that?
I had to wait till the producer was slacking over there.
Sorry, not producing.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, producing, quote.
I would like to
unquote.
show you...
Thanks, Adam.
Y'all laughed at me. Well, yes, who's laughing now?
I'm just going to say I'm still laughing at you.
Yeah, a little bit.
I went out. You see, I knew it. I went on Amazon. I got me a pack of Redskins playing cards. I got a face mask. New Jersey says that you must wear a face mask, so I bought a Redskins face mask. And now when I go out, I have to wear a mask. I'm going to wear the Washington Redskins. And the reason why I'm saying, y'all laughed at me is because it's now been officially banned. You can't buy the merchandise from Amazon,
and it was
Walmart.
banned for a reason, Tim. So you wearing that is offensive.
I guess.
How dare you? Where's the button?
Who's offended?
Where is it?
Here you go.
Thank you.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Where's the button?
Yeah. I need this handy.
So, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We also have the city councilwoman, or a city councilwoman from Seattle, saying that she wants to overthrow the country and create a socialist new order or something.
What? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I'll tell you, man, what you got to be careful of when it comes to these Supreme Court rulings, when it comes to the fact that, look, I'm going to say it. If the Supreme Court says that half of Oklahoma is a Native American reservation. So I looked this stuff up.
Yeah.
Native American reservations are federal jurisdiction. They don't get congressional representation. So what does that say for the people of Tulsa? I don't know.
I bet they're all Trump supporters.
Well, I mean, only 6,200 people showed up to the Tulsa rally. So, but it is Republican. We'll see.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting things here. So we've got this story. We've got Socialist Seattle, and they're doing a segregated white racial de-whiteness training, undoing your whiteness.
How does that work?
Listen, man.
Do you get melanin plugged into your skin somehow?
No. Whiteness is one of my favorite articles ever was that here's the title of the article: Black men are the white people of black people.
Yes.
Have you ever seen that article?
I've heard this before.
Yeah, I have seen it.
It's a real article.
It's amazing.
Because whiteness is literally just, it's like, I'm allowed to say whiteness, it's funny. But imagine if I took a different race and added ness to it. It's the same thing.
Okay.
And it would be considered a slur. You know what I mean?
Well, this is true. He is Korean.
I'm not even gonna play games.
No playing games.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, because I don't know what YouTube's gonna
Get
do.
in trouble,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna give him an excuse.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like we're already on thin ice from
Yeah,
the
I'm
actually-
conversations we've
Nice.
had.
Well, I'm actually really mad because I can't say Korean slurs,
No.
but people can rap songs can use the N-word. Mm-hmm. That's racist. I should be able to use the G word.
Well, as Don
Koreans.
Lemon said 7 years ago, they should stop using that word.
I mean,
So I'm just going off what he said right now.
I'm just saying, what about my rights to use the G word? I had a conversation with a Korean person about this who was like,
I don't even know what the G word is.
I can't say it.
I
Yeah.
I literally can't say it.
I don't even
Mystery.
know.
I don't think actually, you know what? I gotta be honest. I'm willing to bet that YouTube doesn't even know what the G word is either.
Really?
I bet. I'm not gonna say anything.
We're not gonna
No,
try
don't.
it.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for chat to explode on what it is.
No.
If all I'm seeing is what is it?
Oh, nobody knows what it is.
Nobody
If they-
knows.
Dang.
If
Good.
so,
Good.
I don't.
That's great. I love our audience.
I don't know if because YouTube blocks a bunch of words.
Okay.
I actually had a conversation with a Korean person about this, about whether or not we're allowed to say it, and the agreement was, yeah, of course. And I was like, even me, because I'm mostly white, but like my family is part Korean, and they were like, oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Oh, okay. I
They see it?
Well,
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Okay.
There's
it's
many
coming up.
many
Yeah.
chat people that have figured out what it is. So.
Yeah. So, I tell you what, man. I'd be willing to bet that if you went out in public and asked strangers to say, could you read these words? And you wrote like bicycle, machine gun, elephant, G word.
G word.
They would just say it.
Yeah.
They would just say it, and you'd be
Right.
like, "Thank you for that." And you have a recording of that person putting out a racial slur. So there was actually, I was actually. I'm gonna keep this one relatively vague, but I was talking to some friends, and I brought up the fact that most people don't know any racial slurs outside of like the N-word, for instance, and the S word, and there's a lot of slurs. And I was like, so what would happen if you went to like Starbucks and they asked your name and you gave them like a racial slur for a race that Americans don't care about, like Koreans?
Okay.
Like I'm pretty confident if I went to Starbucks and they asked for my name and I said the G word,
Say
they would just yell it out.
Dr. G.
No. If I said my name is, G word,
Yeah.
they would write it on. They would write it down, and then someone would make my frappuccino, and they grab it and go, and just yell it out.
Is there a G word? Your frappuccino's ready.
No, they would go
Mocha.
G word, and I'd be like, whoa, dude, are you kidding me? What's going on? I start throwing stuff and flipping
That'd be
tables,
fun. We should
and then
do
you
that.
film it, and
Boom. Gotcha, Starbucks. Gotcha.
yeah. But I was like,
Canceled.
the
Cancel
point,
Starbucks.
The point I was making was that Americans only care about some minorities. They don't care about Asians.
Same with
You
free
could-
speech. That's basically
Of course.
that's their argument now.
What-
You
what-
know? They don't want all free speech. They just want their free speech.
They say they're for free
Their
speech?
specific speech that
You-
their approved speech.
What they've actually
That's
argued.
not free speech.
They've argued we're actually in favor of free speech because when marginalized voices are oppressed, then they can't speak. So by banning hate speech, you actually protect free speech. And I'm like, do you know what free speech means? Like anybody can give
Not
their
that.
thoughts and opinions.
Right.
So you can't ban speech and claim it's free speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real.
Yeah, there's a very, very solid line between having all free speech and not having free speech. And if you ban anything, that's not free speech at all. Boom, it's black and white.
Yep. That's right.
Can
But-
I even
but-
say that anymore?
Probably not.
Jeez.
We're like we you know what? The cliffs are eroding.
yeah.
You know, that's the way I describe it. When they start banning more and more people, James Lindsay, you mentioned this before we started the show.
Yep.
Conceptual James, he was on Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Gained a bunch of followers because he's talking about intersectionalism. He pushes back hard, and they suspended his Twitter account for no reason. He's what is he, a math PhD?
Yeah.
He's a math PhD.
He's a teacher.
Tweeting like, here's how intersectionality and wokeism works, and they were like, suspended.
Whoa. We can't have people understanding what's going on.
No, that's true. They can't.
That's exactly why I
That's
said
why
it.
they
Yep.
banned free speech.
Yep.
I'm going to take
can't.
that as you telling me I was right.
You are right. You are
Yes.
correct, good sir.
Correct, sir.
Oh, it's like the sun shining on me.
No, but the thing about the racial slurs I thought was really funny is I was like, you could very easily make a whole montage of all of these different chain restaurants, their employees yelling racial slurs because they wouldn't know what the words meant. I was thinking about it because I was watching South Park. You ever see that episode of South Park where they go to the what is it, the Intolerance Museum? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
and like they're like, we don't tolerate intolerance, but they go through this tunnel where it just spouts a whole bunch of racial slurs.
Okay.
And what was interesting to me about it is I didn't know 90% of the words. Like if you watch it, it's like a bunch of words. And I have a friend of mine who's Italian, and he pointed out, I was like, oh yeah, they're making fun of Italians. And I was like, I never heard that.
Wow.
I didn't know that. And so I actually started asking people, and they don't know anything. In fact, like the slur for Hispanic people, most people don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can't say anything. Don't say that.
There's a
well,
few.
no.
There's a
I was
few.
just gonna say that I think for the most part, because they don't know them, because most people aren't racist anymore.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's just
They don't know them.
most people aren't racist anymore. People are just like, oh
Bro.
yeah, oh, are you a cool person? Cool.
Do you know how
Cool.
I
All
know
right.
I know like probably all of the racial slurs for Asian people, because it's probably because how I grew up. And
What are you, racist or something?
Because well, Asians are super racist.
Oh no, you had your
For
buddy
sure, man.
who
Yeah, you
straight
had your
up
friend.
was like, oh yeah, you're this racial slur.
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah,
this
yeah.
racial
He was the
slur.
Eric Cartman of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
But we thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
For those that don't know the context, when I was growing up, there's one kid who just would call everybody by their racial slur, and it meant literally. I would say it meant nothing to us, like it didn't affect us.
Yeah.
But I would say it was actually a net positive, because it was basically like the ultimate diversity
Yeah.
and inclusion. It was like, listen, when we're here together skateboarding as friends,
Yeah.
we are all equally racial slurs.
Equal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Did he talk in the third person too? Like
No.
whatever he would have been. I don't know.
well, like he would point it out if someone told him.
Yeah.
He would just yell it. And
He's like,
he was
whoa,
always
whoa, whoa,
yelling.
whoa, whoa!
With-
Don't call me by my name. Call me this racial slur that
We-
fits me perfectly.
but look,
I
we-
want to be included too.
We grew up. Oh, and of course, white people have racial slurs. There's a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
bunch of slurs for all the different white people.
Mm-hmm.
But we grew up with South Park and Family Guy and all these jokes, so everybody loved it. And George Carlin,
Yeah.
you know where he got it from?
What?
He got it from George Carlin doing the bit where he said all the
All of
racial
them.
slurs, and he just
Yeah.
goes off and he memorized them all. And so we all grew up like urban liberal Chicago,
Yep.
watching George Carlin, and so that and South Park, and so it was hilarious when we'd be out skating, and then he just start mouthing off, and
Yeah.
it's funny. It's funny.
You know, and what he did the best of is he took the power away from it. He took away the hate out of it.
He weakened it.
Well, no, everyone's bringing it back. They're
Oh, yeah, for
they're
sure.
empowering all these words. They're bringing it back. They're making it that it is a hate thing instead of you have no power here anymore because we have thick skin, we have spines, we know who we are. We don't let that affect us anymore. That's we're losing that.
It's worse. They fired the guy from Papa John's for complaining about it. Do you know? Did you hear the story?
I did hear the story.
Dude, I will not.
We talked about it.
I mean this. I am not one to get overly like Chick-fil-A. I don't care, man. If I feel like getting a chicken sandwich, I'm going. You know, Chick-fil-A was doing this donations to like Christian groups, and I said I don't care, and then they canceled, and I was like I don't care, and they started pandering to the far left, and I'm like I still don't care, man.
yeah.
Like all of these companies do different things. I tell you what though, Papa John's. I will never eat Papa John's again. That crossed the line. Papa John
The
was
original
on a phone call.
OG.
And he was complaining that Colonel Sanders used the N-word and no one said anything about it. And that was his complaint. He was like, you know, you get Colonel Sanders. And he said, and he actually used the full N-word, but to complain about it. And then somebody on the call leaked it to Forbes or something. And then they forced him out of the company. They pulled his name off universities.
His company.
His company. This is the most insane cancel culture I've ever seen, that you were literally agreeing and complaining about someone getting away with using the word, and they take your name off of a building where you've donated all this money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They like tried to destroy his life. Why? He didn't even disagree with them, man.
Right.
Do you know about the guy at Netflix?
No.
This is probably the best cancel culture example. Let me just tell all of y'all listening. Right now, there are a bunch of threads going around on Twitter where they're like, cancel culture isn't real. And there's one going viral where they're like, if you've been canceled, you need to atone for your wrongs and earn back the respect. Okay, an executive over at Netflix was having a discussion about what words were offensive and could not be used. And so he started explaining to people, here are some examples of words you can't use. And he said them. And somebody in the meeting went, he actually said it. And they went to HR and they said, he said the word. So they brought him into HR and asked him what happened. And as he was describing the incident, he said the word again. And then someone in the HR meeting went, he said the word to us. They fired him. He was saying, I was telling people that these words are offensive and we can't have them on Netflix. Words like, and then he lists them off.
Yep.
And then they, started all panicking and crying and hiding in the corner, screaming that they were under a violent assault by this man. And
So
I'm exaggerating.
do they have to go back to writing notes and passing them around? These are the words that you must omit from your vocabulary.
The Q word.
This is the thing. We're both from Chicago. I know you know him. He's from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Chicago too. We're gonna talk about it a lot. That's kind of how we do things here at Timcast. We talk about Chicago, that we're from Chicago. Well, one thing about Chicago that you may or may not know, they love their pizza. All right, and we know pizza in Chicago, right? Am I right?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah. So we know pizza. Papa John's, you don't make pizza. I'm sorry. No, your pizza sucks. All right, I'm saying it. So it's no loss. I'm not even a big fan of Papa John's. If you want good pizza, don't go.
What's your favorite pizza out of Chicago?
Dondi's Pizza.
Dondi's?
Yeah, you might not know it. It's
No, is that a small one?
It's one Dondi's. There's only one. I worked there. I actually delivered pizzas for a while. That was one of my jobs. It was an awesome job.
I used to get all the time from I think it was Big Lou's Jardinera Pizza.
Ooh, nice.
And I know that you guys listening don't even know what Jardinera is. That's
Oh,
too bad.
It is.
Chicago thing.
That's
what can I say?
Yeah. Chicago thing. Jardinera,
Yeah,
man.
dude. It's weird, but I'll just tell you, it's like putting carrots and celery on your pizza. And
Yeah.
cauliflower.
It's true.
Yeah.
It sounds weird, but I mean,
With pepper.
I love it. Yeah.
So let's do this.
Hold on, before we do, I wanted to bring this up. I'm actually seeing this a lot. It's these lists that people are making of businesses like Papa John's and even Netflix, I guess, probably will make this list of people that are like, if you are so weak-willed to cancel people, we're not going to support you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this pop up more and more. And it's like they're now
boycott?
Yeah, basically they're saying like we're not going to give this company our money if they're going to just cater to this cancel culture essentially, And it's it's becoming more and more prevalent as we go on.
You know why I don't think that would work?
Why?
These companies already made their bed knowing full well they'll lose the conservative cash. They made a calculated decision before they got woke. How much do we stand to lose and how much do we stand to gain? And they chose a side.
Well,
And they've opted for the safe. They think it's safer
Yeah.
to go left.
I do agree with that, and because it is about the money,
Yep.
and that's not necessarily to say that is gonna, be fruitful for them. There might come a chance or a
Yeah.
time where people actually, enough people make a huge dent, and they're going, oh wow, we're actually losing money now because we made this decision.
Parler is probably the best opportunity right now for collective conservative action because the user base is 99.9% conservative.
Okay.
So it would be really easy for anybody on Parler, to be like, echo this post so that everyone on the site sees it and send a message about X to X company. So we were talking about this before. Like one of the things that conservatives and now moderates who are aligned with conservatives on free speech issues, the reason why they can't succeed against the left in many of these culture war battles is because the left has already been organizing for decades. They have email lists, they have large groups, they're high profile Twitter accounts with huge followings, they're verified. They put out one tweet to a couple 100,000 people. Hey, everybody, hit up Verizon and tell them you're going to boycott. And they do, and Verizon panics. Conservatives don't do that.
Yep.
Imagine if there was a version of that on, say, Parler and said, everybody spend 10 seconds doing this. That would cause these companies to panic. Getting from the left and the right flank, they'd be like, what do we do?
Yep.
How about we shut up and don't do politics anymore? Done. Think about if they put their stupid little brand logo and brand message, here at Brand, we support group of people. And then all of a sudden they got a huge wave of like 200,000 comments being like polite, not hateful, just saying we really would respect you more if you didn't engage in politics.
Yeah.
Look, man, you deliver pizzas, for my kid's birthday. The last thing I need from you is a lecture on my political opinions.
You know what?
Just please give me pizza.
That is a fantastic idea, Tim. Wink, wink for the people who aren't actually
you
watching
can do
us.
It. Well, I'm not going to do it. You can do it.
And as easily as I can do it, you can do it too. I'm talking to anyone who's listening to me right now. You can also do this. A lot of people have come up to me like, "Oh, why haven't you started this, this email list?" Because I'm spending most of my day researching the stuff that's going on. It's like if I started focusing on just researching what companies are canceling people, that's a very slim thing, and I don't want that. I'm trying to maintain a really broad sense of the atmosphere of what's going on in this country. And I think that's really important, being where I'm at, sitting next to you. Like I need a broader, sense of things. So it's not and actually someone, kind of reamed us out like, oh, you have this skate park in your backyard when you should be, spending money on, organizing a movement. It's like, do you not watch our show? Do you not know what we talk about? This is the forum that we have, helping people learn how to speak, have a civil conversation, even if you don't agree.
Yep.
And that's okay. Now people are questioning whether or not the show will last. It's like they clearly don't understand the friendship that you and I have.
Well, they're questioning that we argue on the show. It's a show, people.
I know.
We just built a new 4-foot quarter pipe, and Adam, he put the final. Well, you basically built the whole thing.
Yeah. And
he threw down a blunt rock fakie first trick. It's good go, right?
Yeah.
And I was worried it was going to fall over because it wasn't weighted, and you just went for it anyway.
Yeah.
So no, we have a skate park.
That's how I skate, though.
Listen, man, I don't consider myself to be overtly an activist. I consider myself to be politically active on certain issues, like freedom, liberty, things like that, and that's why I speak out against it. But I'm not a political operative in that sense. I don't go and hang out with political groups to give them advice on their political positions and what they should or shouldn't do. I don't do it. But that's why I said I'm not going to make an email list.
Nope.
Hey, you can, Adam, if you'd like. That's just not something I do.
But this is kind of the thing I'm talking about. This is the problem with a lot of what's going on. Everybody expects someone else to do the work.
Yep.
Every single one of you needs to do work. We all need to understand what's going on. Every single person needs to get out and do the research and understand what's happening. Everybody. It's on everybody. We're all humans. We're all here. We all want this to be better. We all want to live comfortably. That's it.
What would it have been like if the Planeteers never combined their powers with their rings
and
there
brought
would
Captain
be
Planet?
No Captain Planet.
Yeah.
It was only when they realized that together, when they pointed their rings in the sky, they could summon Captain Planet.
Yes, Tim. I'm spinning the UFO. That's a spin.
It's a spin for Tim.
I couldn't think of any of the bad guys from Captain Planet. Loot and Plunder. Plunder. That was his name, right? And
that was great.
That was a Ted Turner show. Man, Captain Planet. You know what really annoyed me about Captain Planet?
What?
They almost never actually used their rings on their own.
That's
at
true.
a certain point, you can have some personal responsibility too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there'd be some episodes. Like sometimes they'd be like, Wheeler would be like fire and actually burn something.
Yeah.
But I guess the concern was that if he was going around burning people, the bad guy shows up and he would. Hold on a minute. If you're fighting this big evil guy who's going to pollute this whole country and kill all these people, Wheeler could walk up to him, point at the ring in his face and go fire and just light the dude up.
Yep.
But they never did.
And that's because violence is not the answer, Tim.
I'm just saying. Look, man, I'm sorry. I don't agree with. I don't agree with the death penalty, but I do believe there is a line. So people ask me about this. Like, what if you're in combat? That's different. So I'm not a big fan of Batman's no-kill policy, because you end up with the Justice Lord's timeline where the Joker ends up drugging Superman. Superman goes and wipes out Metropolis and all that stuff, and then he gets mad because Batman could have stopped Joker if Batman would just grow a pair. Okay. Joker literally kills millions of people. At a certain point, you can. I don't believe that after you subdued somebody and locked them up, that you can then go about ending them. But if someone's literally on the verge about to kill a bunch of people, and you have to stop them by any means necessary, that I understand.
Okay.
That's just my point about Batman.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Oklahoma.
Oh goodness, let's do it,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oklahoma.
Now that you're all here, Oklahoma is, I guess, it's 2 states. So we have this story from CNBC. For those that aren't familiar, this is a big ruling today, and I was really confused why it wasn't getting more attention.
Me too.
The Supreme Court has ruled that the eastern half of Oklahoma is a Native American reservation.
Like more than half.
Yeah.
According to the map. It's a chunk.
Here you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much half, I guess.
So I'm not entirely sure this is just an image I found on the internet, which is supposedly the original 1866 treaty reservation. Look at this little piece of Oklahoma right there. Well, you're good right there in that little corner. You're all right. You're still under state jurisdiction.
That's going to be stolen by Kansas in no time.
Right.
Here's the big challenge. Depending on who you ask, well, actually, for the most part, no one's talking about this.
Yeah, why?
It's being
weird.
covered. But I'm on Twitter and I'm like, shouldn't people be saying something?
Yeah, how is it not exploding?
I saw a tweet from someone saying, guys, I know Trump's tax returns and all that, but what about this story? And no one cared. So I looked it up and I read it and I just like I busted out laughing.
Yeah.
Like my main segment today is about this. And I was originally going to talk about like Joe Biden adopting Bernie's policies.
Yeah.
And then I saw this and I started laughing. I'm like, the whole article, I'm sorry, man. I'm just going to say it. Based on what I've read,
Yeah.
and I've read multiple articles, and I've listened to what the Supreme Court justices have said.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like precedent has been set to dissolve the U.S. So,
I agree. It's pretty scary.
The simplified version of this argument is that the U.S. never officially dissolved the Native American reservation of Oklahoma when they made it a state.
Yeah.
Chief Justice Roberts said that's not true. Of course they did. They made it a state. Of course they did. So why are these other justices arguing that it's still a Native American reservation? Based on that precedent, you would need to make sure, I assure you right now, every single Native American lawyer is pulling up every treaty,
Yep.
and they're going to point to a single word and go, bam, imprecise language.
Yep.
So there were 10 other states that warned the Supreme Court, if you rule in favor of the Native American tribes, the same thing will happen in all of our states as well.
Bye, Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii especially.
I'm shocked Hawaii is still a thing. Like this was the beginning of the day. Hawaii should have been like on it already. Like, okay, bye.
So here's the important
Get out of
factors.
here.
Depending on who you ask, you'll hear something different. The left, the Supreme Court justices who favored this, and the people who support them, because it was all of the liberal judges, say no, it's only about it's only about crimes. Mm-hmm. Like the state is still working with Tulsa. So this is 2 million Americans in this territory that are now living on Native American reservation. This means so much more than anyone is saying. So let me read you the story and try and figure this out, right? So they say the Supreme Court ruled that a huge swath of the state of Oklahoma is Native American land for certain purposes, siding with a Creek Nation man who challenged his conviction by state authorities in the territory. I'm going to be very careful about reading the story because the guy who won, he's a diddler. Yeah.
Not a good guy.
Not a good guy. In 1997, he got convicted of diddling a child.
A 4-year-old.
And
disgusting.
Argued that his conviction would not stand because it was legally Native American territory and the state had no right to prosecute. And the Supreme Court said, yes. Wow. Let the man go. And now the state has said there's 1,700 violent criminals, or just criminals in general, that will now have the same ability.
Same argument.
Now here's what the other side is saying. They're saying no, because their opportunity for appeal and all that has, long since passed. I don't believe that. If they set a precedent that this is on, Native American land.
Yeah, that means they were unlawfully arrested in the first place.
How would you not be able to petition that?
Exactly.
But let's read a little bit. They say the decision means that only federal authorities, no longer state prosecutors, can lodge charges against Native Americans who commit serious alleged crimes on that land, which is home to 1.8 million people. Of those people, 15% or fewer are Native Americans. Quote, today we are asked whether the land these treaties promised remains an Indian reservation for purposes of federal criminal law, Gorsuch wrote. Because Congress has not said otherwise, we hold the government to its word. Now, here's why I think this is serious. Because I understand he's saying it's about federal criminal law, but does this not open the door now for one-upping that argument and saying, if for criminal purposes, why not other purposes?
Yep.
More importantly, what did the state say? The state didn't say this is only going to be about crimes. They said it's going to affect everything. Because think about this. He says federal criminal law. What does the law do? What does the law do? Collect your taxes. You don't pay your taxes. Okay. What happens if you live in this Tulsa area and you do not pay your Oklahoma state tax? I'm sorry. Can they actually, can the state come after you now? Or is this jurisdiction, they say if you're a Native American. So,
which is only 15% of that 1.8
But I'm not entirely
million.
convinced it ends here, right? So let's take out the dissent, right? Chief Justice John Roberts dissented the ruling, as did fellow conservatives Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Brett Kavanaugh. In his dissent, Roberts warned that across this vast area now deemed to be Native American land, the state's ability to prosecute serious crimes will be hobbled and decades of past convictions could be thrown out,
Yep.
well be thrown out. On top of that, the court has profoundly destabilized the governance of eastern Oklahoma. The decision today creates significant uncertainty for the state's continuing authority over any area that touches Indian affairs, ranging from zoning and taxation to family and environmental law. None of this is warranted. What has gone unquestioned for a century remains true today. A huge portion of Oklahoma is not a Creek Indian reservation. Congress disestablished any reservation in a series of statutes leading up to Oklahoma statehood at the turn of the 19th century. The court reaches the opposite conclusion only by disregarding the well-settled approach required by our precedents. Republican Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt said, "I am aware of the ruling in McGirt v. Oklahoma was handed down this morning by the Supreme Court. My legal team has been following the case closely and is reviewing the decision carefully. They will advise our team on the case's impact and what action, if any, is needed from our office." I'm going to skip over. They talk about McGirt. The state of Oklahoma, in turn, argued to the Supreme Court that the Creek Nation's claim territory was not a reservation at all. The state said that if the Supreme Court accepted McGirt's reasoning, it would, quote, cause the largest judicial abrogation of state sovereignty in American history, cleaving Oklahoma in half. In court filings to support McGirt, the Muscogee Nation noted that although the tribe had no role in the genesis of this litigation, it, quote, now finds its reservation under direct attack. Riaz Kanji, an attorney for the tribe, wrote in a filing that Oklahoma was exaggerating the jurisdictional problems that would ensue if the state lost its case. To the extent they hold any water, the state's posited consequences stem from the fact that both executive branch and state officials actively sought to undermine Congress's determination that the nation's government and territory would endure, Kanji wrote. Gorsuch endorsed that argument in Thursday's decision. He noted in the majority opinion that no one disputes that Mr. McGirt's crimes were committed on lands described as the Creek Reservation in an 1866 treaty and federal statute. But in seeking to defend the state court judgment below, Oklahoma has put aside whatever procedural defenses it might have and asked us to confirm that the land once given to the Creeks is no longer a reservation today. Gorsuch flatly rejected that request by the state. Under our Constitution, states have no authority to reduce federal reservations lying within their borders. Just imagine if they did. A state could encroach on the tribal boundaries or legal rights Congress provided, and with enough time and patience, nullify the promises made in the name of the United States. That would be at odds with the Constitution, which entrusts Congress with the authority to regulate commerce with Native Americans, and directs that federal treaties and statutes are the supreme law of the land. He added, if that happened, it would also leave tribal rights in the hands of the very neighbors who might be least inclined to respect them. Kanji, in an interview after the decision, said that despite the arguments by the state and in Roberts' dissent, I don't think this case is going to have earth-shattering consequences on the residents of the land by the Native Americans. It just doesn't change anything with respect to non-Indians in terms of criminal cases. Well, here's the issue I see with this.
It definitely changes. And this is what you brought up.
New lawsuits will emerge.
Well,
I believe that's what we'll see.
They don't have representation anymore. The Americans that are now living in that area no longer have representation.
I think
in
they
the government.
still legally do.
Okay, so they still will have their seats, the Senate seats.
Well, the Senate, yes, because Oklahoma is a state.
Okay.
But I'm curious as to how this will affect the congressional districts.
Right.
If they've said this is a Native American reservation. Now here's what's the craziest thing about this, man. We have an 1866 treaty with them, right?
Okay.
I mean, I've got a video showing all of the, the territories of the Indian homeland, the Native American homeland, and the reservations. And you can clearly see that we've gotten rid of many of their reservations. And this is the point I was bringing up earlier. If they're going to argue that this 1866 treaty, which we basically, walked all over, is still being upheld, then why wouldn't any of these groups then just sue and say, oh, we have a treaty too?
Yep.
So how many other states are going to be impacted by this? I don't entirely know. I do know, based on a lot of the maps, the eastern region is fine. There's no reservations in the eastern region where most of the European settlers were, during the first several hundred years. Then after the revolution from the late 1700s throughout the 1800s, we had westward expansion, manifest destiny, things like that.
I mean, this clearly shows it all right here.
Yeah, so I'll let this roll in the background. This video calls it the invasion of America. I think it's kind of funny. But there's a couple questions I have now based on this ruling. I think SCOTUS opened the door. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, man. Maybe there. I don't think there will be any earth-shattering changes for now, but I think the door has been opened. The changes will slowly emerge.
Yep, exactly.
So in this video I've pulled up, it's going through the years and showing you the lands that are blue are slowly turning gray because they're being taken by the United States. You can see some reservations pop up here and there, but over time, more and more land is just absorbed into the U.S. A bunch of reservations pop up in California in the mid-1850s. So this is literally Americans just going out there, taking the land.
Yep.
Was there a treaty for any of these lands that were settled on by Americans with the Native Americans? Many of them, I would say no. In fact, reservations, I think, are, let's see, we're going to see a big jump, right? See, there are also reservations.
I mean, that whole state of Oklahoma, essentially, except the Panhandle, was part of the Muskogee.
So take a look here. In 2010, they say only this tiny bit, just in the tip of Oklahoma, is a reservation. Now they're saying a whole, the eastern portion of it, like 40%. I have a question if that's the case. If they're going to argue that we have a treaty from 1866 and they say, the United States agreed this was your land, therefore we'll uphold that, isn't there an argument to say, okay, well, we have no agreement on any of the other land, so that's still ours. It was never yours in the first place, right?
I guess, yeah. You could make that argument, yeah.
Well, I think that argument now has much more merit based on the decision of the Supreme Court. If the way I describe it is like, if I trade something with someone and then take it back and they go to court and say, no, we traded. That's mine. He agreed. They'll look it over and say, well, you did agree, so give it back. And there'll be a long court battle. Let's say I just stole from you. Yeah, the cops would come and arrest me and say, you stole it, give it back. Like there's no lawsuit. It's a straight up theft.
Right.
So if the argument is that the U.S. must uphold its contracts and that if the land was granted to them, it's theirs, well, their argument is this land has always been ours. There was never a treaty signed. So you're on our land, right?
I see.
Why wouldn't they be able to present those arguments?
Right.
They probably have before, and maybe, they'll keep trying. But the bigger fear, I guess, is that many other states have warned outright that they have the exact same issue with reservations in their states. Even Maine was saying, apparently, like, we've had native land that there was a treaty, and then, in the 1800s, I kind of just ignored the treaty, and now we built our city over this place. So what's going to happen?
Divided States of America.
There's a reservation apparently in California. It's like 1 acre.
1 acre?
Yeah, and it's like in the middle of a city or somewhere because it's a cemetery, I guess.
Oh.
So there's a lot of places like this, and it feels like the door's been opened.
So I actually did have a question because Oklahoma is part of the Louisiana Purchase. We bought it.
Yeah.
We didn't exactly make an agreement as such, as far as I know, but we literally purchased it outright from the French, I think, right?
You know what, man? I think I know where we're going.
Where? Civil War?
No. Sure.
Just guessing.
But the point I'm making is they are now going to start asserting this is the move being made, and I think we'll see an expansion of this, an escalation of this ideology, this rhetoric, these ideas that we don't own the land, we never bought it, we don't have a right to it. They're now going to say the lands that you contractually own based on the ancestral, the Native Americans are these, so these are ours. And maybe in 50 to 100 years, all of this land will be controlled back. California will be under complete jurisdiction of the Native American tribes.
Or the SJW universe.
Yeah.
Well,
seriously.
the thing
SJW
is,
land.
a lot of Native Americans are like 1/32nd, Native American.
Okay.
Because of just time, settlement, European colonialism, whatever. But it seems like the door has been opened to now. They're going to start arguing you're on stolen land, decolonize. Like this is step one. Maybe it stops here.
Yeah.
But I'll throw it back to, good old John Oliver. When Donald Trump says they're going to tear down the Confederates, where does it end? Jefferson, Washington. And John Oliver said, somewhere. It stops somewhere. Obviously, they're tearing down Confederates, not the Founding Fathers. And then they tore down the Founding Fathers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where does this stop? Now we're going to see Maine, Texas, Montana, all these other states that were warning. Hawaii is the best example.
Exactly. That's why I keep
because
bringing it up,
so several years ago, I think it was maybe like 6-7 years ago. I don't know. See if you can Google search this. A bunch of native Hawaiians stormed like the state capitol building and barricaded themselves inside it, like armed, I guess, for like 2 weeks. Something like that happened. It's been a really long time since I read
One
this
could
story.
argue it was the original Chaz.
The original Chaz.
Maybe so, yeah.
Well, I mean, no, it's
Well, I mean,
Hawaii
technically
had a king and everything.
Well, Actually, and that brings up a good point. Isn't like the entire history of humans
Conquest.
people taking other people's land,
Yep.
right?
There's a song, I think it's called "This Land Is My Land."
Uh huh.
It's like a very famous viral video.
Well, the next line is, "This land is your land."
No.
Oh, it's
This
not?
land is my land. God gave this land to me.
Oh, I didn't hear.
And the
I don't know that
video
version.
is talking about Israel, and it starts with all the different nations that have laid claim to the Holy Land and fighting, and the
Oh.
bodies keep piling up, where they keep saying, "This land is my land. God gave it to me."
Okay.
Yeah. But what were we talking about before that? Did you? Were you
I'm
able
looking for it. They're just
The
talking
Hawaiian?
about reopening Hawaii and stuff right now. So
It's an
everything's
old
more
story.
recent.
And so somebody emailed me this saying that Hawaii was essentially, occupied and taken over.
Yeah.
That America needed the strategic position in the Pacific. And so they broke a lot of rules to make Hawaii, into a state. And there are native Hawaiians who have always resisted and never agreed to this. So, do we have a hard treaty with the people of Hawaii over this state becoming?
I don't know much
Occupied?
about this
I don't
kind
know.
of stuff. I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to
know.
like do some digging on it.
You can't find anything on it?
I can't find anything that far back.
I think it was during Occupy Wall Street, which is why it was like a big deal to everybody.
Yeah.
Like the Native Americans were like demanding their land back. The Native Hawaiians were demanding their land
Right.
back. So,
Occupy Honolulu in 2012.
I don't know, maybe.
That sounds about the right
September.
time.
Yeah, that is the right time frame.
Well, I don't know exactly when it happened, but did they like storm into the Capitol building or something?
Yeah, they're
Oh, there you
there
go.
camped outside the Capitol building.
No, inside.
Oh, inside.
Maybe that was it. I don't know. But apparently it's happened multiple times, I guess. Like Hawaiians being like, "Give us back our land," and now it's occupied by big businesses and the military, and and America. It's American now. So what happens if a lawsuit is waged saying that they have no jurisdiction over this, and they say that the original agreements for statehood were imprecise,
Yeah.
and then you get these same justices going, "Yep, sure."
Because they've already set the precedent themselves.
I don't know. Maybe it's all overhyped. It's possible. My only issue with it is considering how insane everything has been this year. I'm gonna go ahead and just bet on the worst of the worst. They got volcano sharks now. You see this story?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you guys see this?
now?
Say what
Can you
now?
Google this?
I clearly
Yeah,
did
let
not.
me look it up. Hold on one
I'm
sec.
sorry, volcano sharks?
Yeah.
Let me
Yep.
see what I can find.
Well, I mean, you
like
got
a
me. I'm
viral-
at the edge of my seat. Don't
Is it-
don't leave me hanging.
It
Come on.
was a viral post on Reddit.
Oh, that's it.
They found.
Oh yeah, they live inside a volcano. Is that right?
Like swimming through the
Yeah.
lava
So
kind
these
of thing.
sharks live inside a volcano. This is from 2017. It's not Sharknado, but it's definitely Sharkcano.
Okay, so it's
Researchers
old,
have
huh?
found thriving active sharks in an underwater volcano in the Solomon
Oh,
Islands.
okay. It's in there. They still live in water though.
Yeah.
This year,
That's not as cool.
just when you
I know.
I don't
Look,
care anymore. I
I'm
wanted
telling
lava
you.
sharks.
Let me see.
20 lava sharks. They're made of like some extremely dense metal that doesn't melt or something.
Yeah, sick.
2020 has not yet. We have not reached the crescendo, man.
No, it's
Oh.
you can hear the. I feel like the horns just came
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Like
We're
and
waiting
the
for the
horns,
cannons.
cue the horn. Yeah, the cannon. Boom.
Yeah,
no,
dude.
no,
Seriously.
wait, no! Don't fire the cannons,
What-
please.
what's the song for V for Vendetta?
Oh, the 1812
That's what. Yeah,
overture.
Yes,
that's what I'm
yeah,
talking
that's
about.
the
The horns
overture
just came in.
Yeah.
Brr,
Ready for the-
brr.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom. Get the cannons.
Yeah, in
There's
January.
literally cannons in that song.
They found live sharks inside an active volcano in Mexico.
January.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
I guess.
I guess so. I hadn't seen that. Oh,
Oh,
my
man.
gosh. Stop.
There's only one thing any of us could do at this point.
What's that?
Smash that like button.
No, sorry. There we go. Come on. Where's the thing? Oh, he took
I took it
away
from you.
How dare you?
That's right.
I'm not upset.
Oh, man.
said
not
it.
at all.
As long as they're smashing the like button,
and the subscribe button.
I won't be upset.
And we will read super chats at some point. But let's carry on this conversation, man. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
talk
it's
to you
good.
guys about kind of like the end of America.
Huh.
Great.
So it's an election year.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats seem more desperate than they've ever seemed.
I've been saying it.
There's a couple polls have come out predicting a Donald Trump victory. But for every poll or forecast model that says Trump will win, there's
Yeah.
like 7 that say he'll lose.
I know it's true.
But there's another one that came out. I was talking about this earlier. That says the riots are helping Trump dramatically, as we
I
assume.
believe that. Yeah.
And they said that when polled, it was like 71% of people said they prefer all lives matter to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So that's a huge swing. But we have heard similar things from 2 other polls, Economist and YouGov, showing that most people in this country have a positive view of all lives matter, and not and it's like 40-something% have a positive view of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but that makes sense though, because most, as we talked about earlier, most people are not racist. Most people do believe all lives matter, and the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, what Terry Crews was saying, we got to have it be Black Lives Matter, not Black Lives Better, and it's like they're trying to convince more people, like the people that do believe all lives matter. It's like they're trying to convince people that no, you're racist. Black Lives Matter means, like, if you don't believe this, because they counter with all lives matter, which you made a great point the other day. The only thing you can say to it is, yeah, you're absolutely right, they do, because it's true. Don't, like, you know, you have to understand, like, if they truly feel that Black lives don't matter, then you have to, when they say it, you there's only one thing to say. You're absolutely right.
That they do
You're
matter.
absolutely right, they matter. Absolutely 100% they matter.
The problem is, it's like I you know, their argument is all lives matter as a rebuttal.
Right, exactly.
Is racist, and it's like it diminishes what they're saying. And I'm like, why do you assume negativity?
Exactly.
If I said Black Lives Matter, and then someone was like all lives matter, I'd be like, they do. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
Right.
Why, I'm not gonna get mad.
No, you made a really good point there. It's they're assuming that if you're not in their party, in their group, and you don't agree to their ideology, you must be on the other side of the spectrum. 100%. There's no little bit, no negotiating.
But
it's just listen, this or you're my enemy now.
But there are people who get really angry at people saying Black Lives Matter.
I see that also. It's true.
If someone came to me and they were like,
but it's the same reason.
If someone was like, I got a flat tire in my car, I'd be like, let me know what you need. And if someone else came by and said, well, what about all the other cars that have flat tires? You can help them too. I'd be like, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up. I don't know. I'm not gonna get mad about it. I get it.
I'm having an effect on you. You're starting to get a little more positive. I feel. I feel it.
That's the milk toast fence sitter in me.
No, that's pretty positive, bro.
What? That I'm not gonna. But that's my shtick. That, like, both sides come to me and I'm sitting there in the middle going like, whoa, hey, whoa.
Yeah, it's still pretty.
Don't cross over this fence. I'm sitting here.
Well, my perspective is always the one of optimism, so I sense it. The level is raising.
Can I get more pessimistic?
Probably. Sure.
So
I'm sure you can.
We just
no, please don't.
We just had the Supreme Court.
I'm not trying to tell you to be more pessimistic. No. Let's stay where we were. I'm sorry I've said anything. Let's go back to where we were and go.
We just had the Supreme Court rule that half of Oklahoma is a Native American reservation based on an 1866 treaty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the left-leaning justices, but as well as Neil Gorsuch. Gorsuch, or is it Gorsuch?
Gorsuch. I
Gorsuch?
think, yeah.
Oh, whatever.
I think.
Now we have this. Socialist Seattle councilwoman overthrow racist, sexist, violent, utterly bankrupt system of capitalism. But she's basically making a reference to the entirety of the country. Like, she wants to... Here, let me just read this quote from you.
Please do.
So this is the Seattle City Councilwoman said, "We are coming for you and your rotten system. We are coming to dismantle this deeply oppressive, racist, sexist, violent, utterly bankrupt system of capitalism, this police state. We cannot and will not stop until we overthrow it and replace it with a world based instead on solidarity, genuine democracy, and equality, a socialist world."
Okay. There's a lot there. I don't even know where to start. I'm at a loss. You know what? I'll bring it back to what we were just talking about earlier. All right. How most people are not racist.
Right.
Most people don't fit that category that they're talking about. Where did it just go? Can you bring that back? I just want to break it down.
This deeply oppressive?
Yeah. This deeply oppressive, racist, sexist, violent, utterly bankrupt system of capitalism. Where is this world they're living in? Where? What? It's like we were talking about. They're getting these ideas from movies, and because there's always a bad guy. There's always this crazy story, and it's like, I'm not saying that the racist people don't exist. They can F off. I for lack of being able to say the word I want to say right now, but most people think that. This world that they claim America
they're
is
lying.
I know they are.
They
it's
want
ridiculous.
socialism.
Clearly, they said it right at the end. We want a socialist world.
The goal is to use something that you are offended by, racism,
Yep.
and then say, you oppose racism, right? Yes. Well, capitalism is racist, right?
Well, I would say no.
Oh, but it totally is. Look, how come so many poor communities are mostly minority communities? That proves it.
I would say that we don't teach our kids to be superhumans. We teach them how to fall in line. And we're seeing the effects of that now.
Most people make it nowhere near that. And when these people show up and say, "Did you know that majority of the impoverished communities in big cities are minority?" They go, "Oh, because of racism." And they go, "Oh,
it has nothing to do with being in a city.
You hate racism, right? Yes. Then you need to abolish capitalism." And they go, "Oh." And that's it. Done.
One thing
Even
I've
though
learned,
most poor people are white.
One thing I've learned on this job is nothing is that easy. And when anyone tries to claim, "Oh, this whole big complex issue is simply because of this, and we could just get rid of it by switching to this," and it's like, that is nonsense. Everything is super complex. Every day I learn more and more, and I feel further and further away from what the entirety of everything, because every day I realize how complex the system we're living in is. I am not even an expert, and I'm like bombarding my brain about how to understand all this. Guaranteed, none of these people are experts either. They're just claiming they have the answers.
They want power.
When they
They've
just
found
want
a way
power,
to exploit a vulnerability.
You're absolutely right.
Your goodwill.
Boom.
Most people are not racist, so most people will oppose racism.
Yep.
So then they come to you and they say, "But look at all these examples of racism." They take certain stories out of context to manipulate you. That way, you, in the end, socialism.
Yeah.
Because that's their real goal.
Yep.
They don't care about minorities. In fact, dare I say, Karl Marx was a racist, and they themselves are extremely racist.
Yep.
Like, man, some of the most
Extremely.
racist people I've ever met.
My goodness, I've never seen more racism than I have in the past 4 months from these people on the left fighting against racism. Seriously.
Well, you got to correct that statement.
How so?
Claiming to fight against racism.
Okay, good point. They're
Right.
Right. Yes, claiming.
Because they're not doing that.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? I think part of the problem, Marcellus Wiley said this. He's
awesome.
Amazing dude. I love him. He's great. Solid voice, smart, knowledgeable. But he said this recently. He said one of the problems is everybody has access to a platform, and people who have the loudest voice, they tend to be ignorant of the, like, kind of what I was just saying. Everything's so complex. You can't just claim you know the answers. And if someone doesn't agree with you because they might know more about a complex system part of it than they just get upset. But people have this platform and they're using it, and they're making statements that aren't fully informed. They are in ignorance in the classic sense of it. Like they are using it, spouting it, and almost everybody does this now. It's just kind of like, that's the issue. All these, the list of things that person said is wrong with the world, it comes from all these different people that probably are ignorant of what's really going on in the world. They probably have no idea.
So the big challenge right now is, how do we create a unified trust? The journalism is dead. So what happens is, I put out a tweet. My joke tweet said, "It's sad when anyone loses their life. We must do better to teach people not to dance on highways at night wearing all black around a curve behind an obstruction." And a bunch of these lefties got really mad, saying that I was victim blaming one who had been murdered.
Right, but she didn't get murdered.
In response to this,
legally.
Someone commented, and they said the guy literally drove around barricades to get on the highway and then sped into these protesters.
Cops haven't said that.
That's not true at all.
Yeah, no one said that.
So I responded with, does anybody actually read the news? And then someone screen grabbed,
Oh, no.
I think it was NPR,
Okay.
which was just completely at odds with the video evidence. And they said, "I did. Did you? I demand a correction." And I said, I didn't just read NPR or the Washington Post or the local news, in Seattle, or watch all the videos. I did all of these things.
Yeah.
And what this says is wrong. But this is an actual news article, and you're just a guy on Twitter. So how do we get past that point where they're reading fake news that's just, no one's done any work, and then they're going to tell me I'm wrong, and they demand a retraction, and then they go around screen grabbing this, being like, look how dumb he is. He made this up. See, NPR said so.
Yep.
And I'm like, I took NPR, Washington Post, ABC Local, at Fox Local, and 3 videos of the actual stream. The woman got hit. I put them all together and said, that's what happened. But they didn't do that. They just blindly follow the journalist who just like scribbled some nonsense.
Well, someone on a platform that I saw proved my narrative, so I'm just going to run with that. That's how they do it.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many times there'll be like a story and I'll go like, whoa, this story is crazy. And I'm thinking like, man, I can't believe this is happening. Now, before I actually sit down and decide to do a segment on this, let me do some fact checking, and it's not true, and delete.
Yep.
And every day, several times, I'll see someone tweet out something like, did you hear this? And then I'll be like, whoa, and I'll start digging into it and be like, wrong.
Well, and I
Like
get that
Ghislaine
constantly.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
People started saying that this user on Reddit was Ghislaine Maxwell, the second in command to Epstein.
It's crazy.
And they were like, look at this pattern of posting and all this stuff. And then I was like, I saw a bunch of conservatives tweeting like, whoa, this is crazy, and like retweeting this thread. And I'm like, there's no proof this is Maxwell. What is this? Because the user's name was like Maxwell Hill.
Okay.
It's one of the most prominent Reddit users. And then someone immediately responded, Maxwell Hill is a place in Malaysia. Please stop this. And then the user actually started posting like, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, wow.
They try, and this
Like
happens.
after she got arrested.
Yeah. So they were saying that as soon as she got arrested, the post stopped.
Okay.
And sure, you can argue it's a conspiracy. And then once they realized people knew it was her, someone logged in and then said, nope, I'm still here, when it really was her, whatever, fine. There's no evidence to suggest it was actually her. And I saw a ton of high profile people posting this. So I won't post it.
Yeah.
I won't even don't even bring it up unless it's to point out no confirmation.
I have the best situation here. I'm doing all this research. People are hitting me up, giving me ideas, sending me this stuff that's crazy. I'm like, whoa, this is insane. Yo, Tim, is this true? Nope, not true.
I'm like, oh no, not that one.
Thanks.
There's a couple where you're like, hey, did you hear this? I'm like, I don't think that's true because of this. And you go, let me check. Oh wait, I think I found it. And I'm like, oh wow, really?
Yeah. Well, there's been a few times. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The Black Lives Matter woman saying that, talking smack about white people.
Yep.
I thought it because it was a screen grab that I was like, I know that, for those that aren't familiar with the story, a high profile member of Black Lives Matter in I think Toronto, right,
yeah.
said things about white people that I probably can't repeat on YouTube about, positioning in ranking the races, to put it that way, right?
Yeah,
just the
bad.
superiority, inferiority stuff. And I know that Black Lives Matter had said something like this before that went viral. So when the story popped up again and all people were sharing were screenshots, I didn't believe it. And I was like, no one's actually posted any hard source. Turns out the post was really old, but it was legit.
I think it was like 3 years old or something.
Yeah, back in 2017. But so the problem we face now is that it's all noise. And you know what I think might be happening with these polls and with Trump and the election and all that stuff? You have a journalist. I'll do air quotes.
Thank
you.
I was doing it in my
And
head.
they're sitting in their office, and they have like like most of them, their eyes are rolled to the back of their head, and they're just like drooling.
Yep.
And then someone walks in and goes, right, Trump bad. And they go, okay. And they start mashing the keys. And then just like, they have like, a dozen, chimps in a room all mashing the keys. And eventually Orange Man Bad pops up.
Yeah.
When they write that nonsensical story, then they publish it. It goes, then there's another newsroom where you have the same people sitting there drooling. And then they see the article pop up and it says, Trump stole a scoop of ice cream. And they go, Donald Trump is a thief. He was caught stealing. Donald Trump was going to steal from everybody. And now they've taken this and used it as pretext to write another article.
Right.
Donald Trump is a thief, confirmed. Then another journalist drooling in their office, sees Donald Trump as a thief, and they go, how long has Donald Trump been stealing from the poor? Yeah. And it just keeps spinning around in circles.
Telephone.
The mainstream media telephone network.
Right.
If you will.
So let's say the first, person sees a poll that says, will Trump, be triumphant in November? And it says it's a neck and neck race between Trump and Biden. And they go, whoa, so Trump might actually lose. The article is saying, or this poll comes out saying, Trump does have a decent probability of losing. So they write, Trump could actually lose this election. Send. Another journalist sees it. Trump is losing. Whoa, Trump is losing. Send.
Yep.
Then someone writes, whoa, Trump is losing? Trump has no chance. Send. The next person sees it. Trump has no chance. It's over for Trump. He's
has
panicking.
lost.
Send.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Donald Trump floundering. Administration is panicked. And then a journalist calls someone working with Trump and goes, is it true that you're all in a free fall panic, that everything is falling apart around you and your lives are over and Trump's house burned down?
No. And even better, the Republicans are thinking of dropping Trump.
Yep.
That is an actual thing I read that
And
was
then
going
at
around.
the same time that story comes out, where it's like Republicans discuss Trump dropping out, Politico writes, Trump admits it, he's losing. And then the actual quote from Trump, we're expecting a really huge win when the silent majority steps up. It's going to be historic, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so what?
It's like the exact opposite.
Wow.
What am I supposed to trust?
Oh, man.
Your top secret anonymous sources or the words of the man himself?
Right.
I have no reason. Listen, I understand some people don't like Trump and some people do like him. I don't care if you like him or don't like him.
Yeah.
If it came down
Same.
to it, and Ian said, "Yo, Tim, Adam wants to eat a cheeseburger," I'd be like, "Well, that's strange. Adam's vegan." And then I came to you and said, "Adam, what do you want to eat for lunch?" And you said a vegan cheeseburger. I'd be like, "I'll take your word for it."
Yeah.
You said those words.
Right.
Why would I be like, I don't know. No, Ian said you wanted a regular cheeseburger.
Well, technically, I would just say cheeseburger. I wouldn't say,
Cheeseburger.
I wouldn't add the
right,
word.
and I would know what you meant. But this reminds me of I can't remember. It was an episode of Family Guy, and someone I can't remember what it was, but someone stole Peter's phone or something.
Okay.
And then texted Joe like, "I'm gonna go to Build-A-Bear with you." And then Peter was like, "I don't want to go." And he goes, "I don't know. It says right here on the phone you said you wanted to come with me." And he's like, No, I don't want to go. Then his phone rings and he goes, "Nope, says you do." So then they go, and then Peter's like, "Can I leave?" And he goes, "Well, you just texted me again saying you want to stay." So, like, that was the joke. Like,
funny.
somebody was texting him pretending to be Peter, and Joe was like, "No, I don't know. Like, I know you're telling me, but I see this text."
Yep.
We literally are in a world where journalists will go to Donald Trump and be like, "Mr. Trump, what's your favorite kind of pizza?" And he'll go, "I really love pan with a nice oily Parmesan crust." And then they'll go, "But anonymous sources say Trump actually likes deep dish." Confirmed. The man literally told you what he was doing.
Right.
It's the craziest thing that we are in this era. How am I supposed to? I got something for you. A poll was released in March from CBS,
Okay.
and it found that Americans trust Trump more than the mainstream media. Think about how bad the media has to do for people to prefer to trust a real estate reality TV
Tangerine.
mogul.
Well, I mean, he won. He's the president. Newsflash. If you don't like him and you're trying to deny it, he is the president. And that proves people like listening to what he has to say. So people go out and watch his speeches. It's online. They can listen to the man himself.
The media is so bad at what they do
Yep.
that more Americans would trust a reality TV real estate mogul
Yeah.
than an actual 20-year career veteran journalist.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. That says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
That you go and listen to Trump, and it's an issue of Trump saying something like, he'll go up and go, "I really like deep dish pizza. It's fantastic." And then the press writes, "Donald Trump hates all pizza." And you're like, if you don't,
No. Donald Trump hates Chicago.
yeah, it's just like what?
What?
That makes sense.
No. Donald Trump culturally appropriates Italians.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
snap.
But it's the actual real example. It's Donald Trump giving a speech where he said, "We're going to build a great garden of heroes. Everybody loves it. It's the best." Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, and then Brookings Institute goes, "Trump wants to build." Trump calls Confederate soldiers heroes, and it's like,
What?
what?
I did not hear that at all.
When did that? When?
Yeah,
Never
when?
happened.
How'd I miss that?
Right. Well, it's because he was talking about the forefathers.
Yeah, and they extrapolated that to mean Confederates.
Yeah.
No,
That's
they.
racist.
Well, sure, they lied.
Right.
They were like,
Absolutely. 100% they did. Yes. Well, most people listen to him speak. So when they see the mainstream narrative and they're like, "That's ridiculous. I listened to what he said over and over and over for 4 years. What do they think is going to happen?" People are going to be...
How dare you?
Is it going to be?
Thank you, Greta.
Is it going to be Hillary Clinton?
Are we going to talk about this?
no.
Is it going to be Hillary?
Did
Clinton?
you see her speech about how
She would win.
female presidents have handled the coronavirus the best on the world? So, wink, wink.
Hold on. I noticed something else.
What'd you notice?
New haircut.
New haircut.
Big ol' smile.
Yep.
Botox.
Light colors.
Yep. Pleasant, cheery demeanor.
Sunny setting.
Yeah. Sunny
Yep.
setting.
Mm-hmm.
Did I jinx us like 4 months ago?
Dang it, Adam.
Well, Biden said he was going to pick a woman. The second that the words left his mouth, I was like, Hillary Clinton. Biden, she's going to take you out.
The
man.
moment
Don't
the
do
moment
it.
he says it, every single media outlet will start praising Hillary Clinton. They're going to be like,
no doubt.
This has been a disaster. Our economy is in ruins. It's about time we went back to 2016 and made the right choice.
But that is not democracy. They are throwing it in people's faces. We don't care what you think. We don't care about your vote, or they only care about your vote. We don't care what you think, though. We didn't have to send her to debate and show you why she would be a good president. We're just going to shove it down your throat that she's going to be the one for you. It's like, oh, gross.
There's going to be
Terrible.
they're already saying this. The memes are popping up where they're like, I thought the Trump presidency would be bad. I didn't realize it would be this bad. The economy is in ruins. People are dying.
The economy has been amazing. What are they talking about?
They waited till the 11th hour when it mattered most.
Yep.
I mean, look, I actually have a tweet here to show you guys. They waited until the very last minute to exploit whatever they could
Yeah.
exploit. So take a look at this tweet from Dr. David Samadi. Please explain to me why mandatory masks were not implemented around March 22nd if they were serious about stopping the spread. If they were thought to be effective, they should have been used from day one.
Boom.
Implementing them at this point does next to nothing. Take a look at this. Figure 4, confirmed deaths among COVID cases by date of death, Ontario, March 1st to July 5th. Look at this. Mandatory masks implemented,
Yep.
and there's almost no deaths.
Yeah, after it took out all the people that were immunocompromised, that were already on the verge of with other pre-existing conditions. So yeah, it makes sense. But why would they make it mandatory after the fact? Why?
I have no idea, man. 11th hour exploitation of a crisis for political gain.
I mean, there was that tweet by AOC that is contested. I don't know if it's real. I didn't see the tweet myself.
Which one?
I don't think it's real.
Which one?
That was not real.
She basically, yeah. I'll just say there's tweets that are going around that were
No.
basically.
Was this the one where she said close the businesses?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
real.
No,
Completely fake.
I know it's contested. Mad people are saying I saw it for myself. I don't know. I didn't see it, but you gotta
It's
think
fake.
about it though. The tweet being fake is regardless. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about the tweet itself being fake. I'm talking about the fact that they are clearly happy the economy is now tanking, that now they're talking about it. Now they're blaming Trump for the economy tanking, but it's actually because
They're
of
doing.
COVID-19 and the business is not opening up again. So they really do feel like most people are idiots.
They're exploiting the crisis.
Yep.
So I
absolutely.
thought about this because people have talked about the right flight as people in the know flee the cities.
Okay.
Regular people aren't going to flee the cities. They're not paying attention.
That's probably true.
And so the cities are going to become a bunch of NPCs, and the resistance, the people who oppose these Democrats, will leave, giving them guaranteed power for the next however long.
Man, that's another good point.
Yeah.
That's solidifying
There-
their win over the cities that people live now.
So here's what's going to happen. Some liberal types are going to leave because they're rich. Most conservative types and moderate types will leave because they're more industrious. And then the people without the capability to move and the people who don't pay attention will stay, giving them the politically uninitiated and the poor.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are going to vote Democrat, guaranteeing no competition in these jurisdictions for Congress.
Man, the more I look into the policies that they've put, I am leaning
Scratch
Republican.
your head. Yeah, but
Maybe not Republican.
What,
I'm definitely a lot more conservative than I realized.
you'd probably be along with the Libertarian Party.
Probably, that's true.
Yeah, the Libertarian Party has always had fiscally conservative policies, but socially liberal in a sense. Not completely.
Okay.
But basically, the Libertarian Party was more like, hey, let's not have the government spend all our money on dumb war stuff. Let's let people live and do their thing. And that includes, there's a really funny shirt that says, I can't remember what it says. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. The one where it's like, I just want to smoke pot with.
Oh yeah, I want to be able to protect my pot plants with my automatic weapon from with my gay neighbors or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but if basically the Democratic Party is gun control, the Republican Party is pro-life. But this is changing, man.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's changing. I think I think everything was just shifted dramatically to the left.
Yep.
When you look at now, Jeff Van Drew is a good example. He's got a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood. That's my understanding. And he's a Republican. He switched parties. And he won the primary. So here's a guy who's pro-choice. And he was a conservative Democrat. So he's probably the furthest left Republican there is. But the whole Republican Party is going to move left on a ton of issues. Think about every single conservative, like not every, but 90%, supporting police reform as it pertains to like George Floyd.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, unheard of. 10 years ago, there was the launch of Blue Lives Matter and, Back to Blue and defend the police and stuff, which is it's still around today for sure.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that when George Floyd died, I even Rush Limbaugh and Hannity, they came out and they were like, this is wrong. It's terrible.
Yeah.
There's a big, and this is a cultural leftward push. A lot of people said, what does that mean? How does that left? There's economic left and there's the cultural left. There's the economic right and the cultural right. The important thing that everyone needs to know, not like when it comes to any political faction, be it far right, I'm doing air quotes, or far left, they're all economically left. All of them.
Okay.
The only economically right, meaning laissez-faire capitalism, is like libertarians and ANCAPs. But even among what the press calls far right is actually economically far left, advocating for universal health care, government programs, just for, their people, So, yeah. I don't know. Nothing seems to make sense at this point anyway, so I don't even know what the point is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. Well, I bring you now to the most important thread we have for the day.
Oh.
Oh, man.
My friends,
Yes.
everything is racist.
Oh.
I bring you Titania McGrath, the foremost expert on intersectionalism.
Indeed.
For those that aren't familiar, I'm just going to be honest with you. Titania McGrath is not, in fact, a real person. I'm sorry.
Or
I
a
know.
woman.
Or a woman.
Yeah.
Titania McGrath is a parody account mocking wokeness run by Andrew Doyle, who is a brilliant comedian. And he created Titania McGrath to satire
It's pretty funny.
wokeness.
Yep.
Now, this thread actually is very important. And that's why I pulled it up. It's funny, but Titania tweets, important thread. Brave social justice activists, such as myself, are working tirelessly to expose all the racist elements within our society. Sometimes it is difficult to keep up, so I thought it would be helpful to curate a comprehensive list. Now, the reason why this thread is so funny is that I understand it's Titania, it's a character, but assuming Andrew Doyle is running this, he put together a list of the most absurd and ridiculous claims of racism and compiled them to one place.
Oh, goodness.
This is the future that I hope you are all ready for.
So this is actually satire based and showing truth
yes.
of what people actually put out there.
Real articles.
Oh, goody.
Before I read this,
This should be great.
I wanna
You know
tell-
what? Hold on.
smash the like.
I got to smash my like button for this. Yes.
He's smashing it.
You better be smashing that like button.
Okay,
Smash
okay.
it.
Now listen. The reason why this is so important, I did a segment on this earlier. The Army has an office of has an equity and inclusion agency, and they sent out an email saying "Make America Great Again" was white supremacy and racist, and there were complaints. Why are you sending out this email? That's political. That's a violation of the Hatch Act. And my response to this is, why is there an equity and inclusion agency in the U.S. Armed Forces? Mm-hmm. Because the religion has infected every facet, every layer, every level.
Yep.
And here we go. Now I'm going to show you what you can expect moving forward with nonsensical, fractured, and broken news. Titania says things that are racist, part 1.
Oh, no.
From The Blaze, Deadspin writer calls for the Masters golf tournament to change its racist name. When you hear anyone say the Masters, you think of slave masters in the South. I don't.
Neither
Who
do I.
does?
I don't think that's.
Oh man, I'm just gonna not say anything because I can snap on all
I'll
these.
be ready
people.
for this one. From master bedroom to blacklist. What will it take to change racist terms in our everyday language? That's right. Your bedroom is racist.
Who knew?
Here we go. For God's sake, Black Lives Matter activist Sean King says statues of Jesus should be torn down because they are white supremacy. And last in this part 1, do you think chess is racist? The ABC has been blasted over discussion if chess is racist. That's right. Golf, bedrooms, Jesus, and chess. That is round 1.
Oh my
Round
gosh.
1.
How many rounds are there?
I don't know.
There's like
4,
I
5,
saw 19.
6, 7. Oh, this is going to be great. Let's do it. Let's go to part 2.
This is amazing. Let's do this.
Here we go. Calls to remove racist Gandhi statue in Leicester. There you go, Gandhi. The Simpsons will no longer cast white actors in non-white roles. Family Guy's Cleveland steps down. Cow's milk has long been a symbol used by white supremacists. One more reason to ditch dairy.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
I see.
gosh.
Want to tear down insidious monuments to racism? Bulldoze LA freeways.
Oh my goodness.
Free rate. So the roads are racist?
Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi, cartoon characters Milk and Rhodes.
Cool. I'm tracking.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You tracking it?
Yeah, I got this.
round 3. Band-Aid launches new range of diverse skin tone bandages.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Company says it's committed to embracing the beauty of diverse skin.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. If coronavirus doesn't discriminate, how come black people are bearing the brunt? The number of ethnic minority deaths is shocking. The pandemic is exacerbating inequalities. Orcs in The Lord of the Rings show Tolkien was racist.
This again.
And last, for number 3, Uncle Ben's Rice Firm to scrap brand image of black farmer. Parent company Mars says the character is out of step with the times and the BLM campaign. Round 3, Band-Aids, coronavirus, orcs, and rice.
Yes.
All racist. You ready for number 4? And there's a bunch of these. At a certain point, just assume everything is racist. No joke.
Mm-hmm.
L'Oreal to remove words like whitening from skincare products. Announcement comes against backdrop of global anti-racism protests.
Like
UK
teeth whitening?
What was it?
Teeth whitening?
They did. Yeah, they got rid of that. Yeah.
That makes perfect
UK
sense.
nurses, COVID-19 haka slammed as cultural
That
appropriation.
was cringy.
Land O'Lakes replaces Native American woman logo, touts farmer-owned credentials instead.
Replaces her with nothing.
No, that's not true. My favorite meme is they kicked out the Native American and kept her land.
Accurate.
Here we go. Oxford student votes to replace clapping with jazz hands.
Oh,
Now, this is an
yeah.
older one.
DSA, man.
Skincare products, nurses, butter, and applause. All racist. Well, no.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The applause isn't racist. It's triggering.
Okay.
Oh, is
The
that
loud
right?
noises gives
Yeah.
people anxiety.
Well, no. It's because some people may get a louder applause than others, and that's
Oh,
offensive.
Yeah, that is offensive.
Because
too.
participation trophies should be equal across the board. All right.
My friends.
All right.
Cancel them. Cancel
We have-
participation trophies.
We have
Hashtag
now
it.
part 5. Is math racist?
This is my favorite.
New course outlines prompt conversations about identity, race in Seattle classrooms. Yes.
Of course it's
They've
Seattle.
actually been saying right now that 2 + 2 = 4 is a colonial construct and it's not true.
1984.
It's worse than 1984. Front lawns are catastrophic environmentally, yet are prized as a symbol of the white racist suburban dream. This is about a larger issue. Who gets to determine how space is used? How are laws that control how space can be used a means of forcing white norms onto non-white people?
Nonsense questions.
Grass, racist.
I didn't know grass was a white thing.
Oh, who knew?
For white people only.
I didn't know that either.
That's what they said, huh?
Weird.
Ex-MP Fiona Onasanya attacks Kellogg's cereal box racism.
Wait, what?
This is the most insidious. You know why?
Why?
This Cocoa Pops monkey,
Oh, that's insane.
they got rid of the character because they said it was racist. I'm sorry, man. I don't look at monkeys and see minority groups.
Normal people
same here.
don't.
Normal people see monkeys and
what-
think,
what-
oh, it's
hold
a
on.
monkey.
What are the Keebler elves?
They didn't do
The
anything.
Mac and, I suppose they were Scottish, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they. No,
the
well,
Irish?
the Irish guy was a leprechaun on the Lucky Charms box.
No. The don't. Oh, that's right. The Keebler elves didn't have an accent.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
They
think an
just
accent.
talk like this,
Yeah,
or
weird.
something. Mathematics, front lawns, breakfast cereals, finding Asian men attractive.
Wait, what?
Your strange crush on Rishi Sunak could actually be a racist fetish. Oh
Okay.
my god!
Yeah, you're not allowed.
You know, I'm
so
sorry.
wait, so are they saying that you're not allowed to be attracted to a different race?
Oh,
that's
no.
racist.
Hold on.
That's racist?
This is not a joke. That's actually a long-standing fact among intersectionalism.
Seriously?
Yes.
It's bizarre, right?
These
There's-
people
there's a-
have too many screws loose.
These people are racist, dude. There's a viral video going right now about a city councilwoman saying
gosh.
that it was racist that a white man was bouncing a
I saw
a
that.
baby of color, I guess is the
I
proper.
saw that. It's-
And she's screaming, saying, "Read white fragility. People are being hurt by you. It is harmful that they're singing." He's like, "It's my friend's,
Nephew,
my
yeah,
nephew.
yeah.
Like what? I'm just a baby,
my,
man."
my own nephews are, mixed race.
Well,
and
don't you dare touch them.
I'm gonna play with my nephews. I love them. I'm
Yeah.
Uncle Adam,
What
and
the
I'm
heck?
proud of it. I love them so much. Like their skin color means absolutely nothing to me.
This tells
they're
me-
Well,
they're
hold on.
amazing children, and I love them.
Wait, are you using the correct soap?
This tells me they're racist.
Am I using the correct soap?
The racist history of soap.
Yeah.
Commodity racism 101. Adam,
Probably not. I don't.
Yeah.
Colgate to review historically racist toothpaste brand Darlie.
Darlie.
What on earth?
I've never even heard of that brand.
It's popular in China.
Sounds like they're just trying to get a boost in sales.
Yeah,
The
seriously.
best white statement to make right now may be to shut up and listen.
Oh, they try to tell Adam
Yeah,
that.
that's what that
Oh.
I don't go well with that.
White silence is compliance.
Oh
The
my
role of
gosh.
people in the Black Lives Matter movement. This may be the best one because I tell you this.
Oh wow.
Soap and toothpaste are both racist. White people speaking is racist, and white people not speaking is racist.
I love it.
It's
That is
fantastic.
Amazing.
My goodness,
I
this
should be
this is
drinking.
real life
There's
right now.
Seven. The unbearable whiteness of hiking
Yes, I saw
and how
that.
to solve it. This is fantastic stuff.
Going to explore nature.
Here we go. Here we
Super
go.
racist.
People of color experience climate grief more deeply than white people.
Oh, what?
Eskimo pies to drop derogatory
Ah.
name over racial insensitivity. The very large outraged minority group. Hulu removes Golden Girl episodes with blackface
They were
scene.
wearing masks.
Yeah, they had
Hiking,
the mask.
climate change, ice cream snacks, and the Golden Girls.
Huh. Okay.
Part 8,
Oh no.
opinion.
Yeah.
What the white supremacist roots of biological sex reveal about transphobic feminism.
Intersectional.
Wow.
That's the algorithm, man.
That is algorithmic stuffing
Yeah.
where they try and put every single word
They
into a.
nailed it.
Yeah, they got it there.
All right, here we
Killed
go.
it.
Here we go. Be mindful of opening up meeting and interactions with questions like "How are you?" or "How was your weekend?"
Excuse me?
Recognize that by doing so, you could potentially be re-triggering what your black colleagues are experiencing or dismissing their experience by pretending all is normal. It's not and hasn't been for a long time.
So infantilize them.
Oscars announced new diversity and inclusion plans. The knitting community is reckoning with racism.
Yeah.
Fiber artists of color are taking to Instagram stories to call out instances of prejudice and to try and shape a more inclusive future.
Carlin.
Biological sex,
I don't get it.
asking
Yeah.
how are you, the Oscars, and knitting.
Yep.
Oh, there's so many of these.
Oh,
Don't stop, please don't stop.
All right. The unbearable whiteness of cycling. Oh, don't ride your bike.
Okay.
The craft beer industry has a
Can't
diversity
even
problem.
have a beer.
An alleged racial profiling incident at an Angry Orchard farm in New York has prompted talk about the lack of diversity in the craft beer industry. Here we go. Here we go. Minorities in the U.S. breathe in more air pollution caused by white people.
Oh, whoa.
What?
How
What a
is that
reach.
possible?
What a reach.
They're
my
disproportionately
gosh.
exposed to air pollution, a study has found. UW student petition to remove Abraham Lincoln statue on Bascom Hill. Here we go. Cycling breweries, air pollution, and abolishing slavery.
Wow.
Thank you,
Wow.
Titania McGrath. There's more.
There's so much.
Here we go. While Dwayne Fields found solace in the landscapes of the UK and beyond, many black, Asian, and minority ethnic groups see the countryside as being a white environment.
What?
Nature.
Nature is white
Earth.
supremacy.
Earth is
Here we go.
is white.
Huh.
Despite what you might have learned at school, many suffragettes were also working to advance, white supremacy.
Feminism.
Many famous were actually working to advance white supremacy. There it is.
Never heard that
Wow.
before, but
Calls
geez.
for redesign of royal honor over offensive image. And racist fish.
Yeah, this is sad.
So the countryside, the suffragette movement, the medal of the most distinguished order of St. Michael and St. George, and fish.
Well, technically
Well,
it would be mermaid.
It was the Little Mermaid
Yeah.
specifically.
Little
Yeah,
Mermaid,
was
yeah.
that
The
Hans
Danish
Christian
thing.
Andersen?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Here we go. How many are there? Oh, this is insane, man. I can't read all these.
Sure can.
Look
Oh
at
my
this.
gosh.
18. 18.
Wait, where were we?
What was that? 9? Oh, we're on 11.
Oh, good, good. We're doing good.
Aunt Jemima brand to change name. Remove image that Quaker says is based on a racial stereotype. Oh, this is too much. Big fast food won't talk about the sodium killing black customers.
What?
What is this? The French fries are spikes, and there's a person falling into them.
Oh, it's a trap. They have to eat them.
BuzzFeed News.
The
Oh my
unintentional
gosh.
racism found in traffic signals.
What? Is it because he's white?
Dude, no, read it.
Wasn't it green?
Read it.
Just because something doesn't use an
The,
offensive
the
mascot.
NAACP links earthquake signs in Oregon to white supremacy.
I'm so confused.
Wow.
Earthquakes, traffic signals, salt, and syrup. Here we go. Is classical music racist? Yeah, of course. Racism is built into KY horse racing history. Is industry ready to address the injustice? Sorry, white people, but trying too hard not to be racist is low-key kind of racist. White women's obsession with being nice is one of the most dangerous tools of white supremacy. There it is. Classical music, horse racing, trying not to be racist, and being nice. Dude, this is incredible stuff, man.
Oh, yes. Please keep going.
Drop the term Anglo-Saxon as it is bound up with white supremacy, says academics. The whiteness of Toy Story 4. What is happening? Mary Poppins and Nanny's shameful flirting with blackface.
What?
They were.
Jogging has always excluded black people. Okay. Anglo-Saxons, Toy Story 4, Mary Poppins, and jogging. Things that are racist, part 14.
Cool.
Lake District must change to attract more diverse visitors. Okay. For those in my this is from Becca Lewis. For those in my comments who don't seem to know, so-called trad wives are white supremacist women who devote themselves to domestic duties in the service of perpetuating the white race. It is a dog whistle meant to sound less white supremacist than it is.
Wow.
Episode of British icon Faulty Towers is pulled for racist content. Oh, wait, there's more. They say, episode featured a scene which uses derogatory racial comments. We need to talk about digital blackface in reaction GIFs. Why is it so common? So, the Lake District, wives, Faulty Towers, and reaction GIFs. This is too much. I can't keep reading this. Here, I'm not gonna read the titles. I'll just tell you the gist of it from now on.
Yeah, sure.
So, because we got too many.
Yeah.
Part 14. Botany, sandwiches, environmental activism. Women. Women have always been part of white supremacy.
All women.
Whoa. Good to know.
Does that mean black women too?
I mean, they didn't specify. It just said women.
Science, Western philosophy. It literally says Western philosophy is racist. That's it.
Whoa.
Libraries.
Period.
Can dogs be racist? Like children, dogs may pick up prejudices.
Psychology Today.
Oh, man. Part 17. The racist roots of fighting obesity. Dieting is racist. How to decolonize your yoga practice. Stop doing it. It's cultural appropriation. Country music. Oh, that's the Lady Antebellum stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the North American Scrabble Players Association is prepared to vote this week to ban more than 200 offensive words from its official lexicon for judging in tournaments. Scrabble. But this is worse.
There's tournaments for Scrabble?
Offensive
Canceled.
words. Offensive words.
Canceled.
Offensive words.
That would be the first word I'd play.
There are so many words that are offensive.
Yeah, of course there is.
I'm not talking about slurs.
Doesn't mean
I'm
you
talking
can-
about people who just get offended by a word.
Everybody. Well, no, I was going to say everybody, but
Some
no,
people get
not
offended by the
everybody
word
gets-
he and she.
Not everyone gets offended by any word.
This is amazing.
Sorry.
Part
Not
18.
sorry.
There's more. Wine, shoes. Oh, wow. Is your sexual desire for black people racist? 3 questions to reveal the truth. Sexual racism is racism. If you're white and you find yourself writing off an entire ethnic group from your dating or sex life because you can't imagine finding them attractive, recognize this as a learnt behavior, which originates in white supremacy. Here's some more info. That's right.
Say it. You have to say it, Tim.
I'm going to make it family friendly. Being in a relationship with a marginalized person or choosing not to be in a relationship with a marginalized person. They're both racist.
Yep. Everything's racist.
It is literally everything.
Yep. Lego
Part
Movie
19,
3.
and this is the last one. From Elvis Presley to Patti Smith and the Stones, rock music is built on racism. Why don't we care? The racist history of tipping. Oh, wow. I'm going to fall asleep. Why so many white supremacists are into veganism. I knew it!
What?
This proves it, Adam.
Adam.
You have been exposed. What white...
This is the most ridiculous
From
thing I've ever.
Hitler to present-day National Socialists with YouTube cooking channels,
Whoa.
the far right's anti-meat ideology runs surprisingly deep.
Yeah, I've seen the opposite too. They said the exact opposite.
Wow.
I'm so tired of. I'm just so done.
I wonder if they know that over in. Well, it's no longer Chaz, but the
Chaz is gone.
Portland protesters that were asking for vegan
all
stuff.
They were all white supremacists.
I guess so.
Dr. Seuss books are racist, new study says. Should kids still read them? I can't believe it, but 19 tweets.
Wow.
19. So what is that? 76. 76 stories
Oh my gosh.
where everything that could be racist is racist.
Yeah.
My friends.
Basically.
I think-
They were counterintuitive there. They were saying things that were racist, but then doing the opposite was racist also. So literally
White people
existing.
speaking.
White people existing are
Yeah.
racist. If you
Basi-
exist and you're white, you're a racist.
Especially if you're a woman.
But that's
Goodness
That's what white
sakes.
fragility is about.
Seriously?
White fragility, the book was
You are
number 1 on
inherently-
Amazon, and it says white people are racist, and if they deny it, that proves they're racist.
Wow.
Therefore, the only thing you can say is yes. Because if you say no, it proves it. They call it a Kafka trap.
That's a trap.
That the claim is that denying that you're something proves you're something. It's like there's literally nothing you can do. And that book was number 1 on Amazon.
Wow.
And it's still in the top. And there's Zoom meeting calls where people are like holding up their copy of White Fragility.
Yeah, I saw that.
And also White Rage.
Embarrassing.
Yep. And then there's a bunch of intersectionalism books that are on the top.
That's what I was saying.
Man,
I haven't seen more. I've seen more racist stuff in the past 4 months from all these people fighting racism. It is insane how racist they all are. They are making things racist that I had no idea.
As the only marginalized person here, I am hereby decreeing that I have the authority. Whenever you try to argue anything, I'm just going to accuse you of being either fragile or exhibiting white rage.
Gosh.
So if I say
people
something
are
like,
already worried about the relationship here.
no.
No.
Thank you.
Veganism
Pointing the.
is white supremacy.
Don't you point that finger at
That
me.
proves it.
Don't you point that minority finger.
That proves it, Adam. You're a vegan, and that means you're a white supremacist.
Well, I guess if Vice said it, geez.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're agreeing. Yes. But don't you dare insult Vice. I don't want to see that white rage in this room. You respect Vice for what it is.
Oh, I do.
Oh my goodness.
There's literally a book called White Rage, and it's like the cover is being peeled, and it's like, like behind the peel, it says White Rage. And it's the same argument. It's like, if someone comes to you and insults you and your family and you get angry, that proves you're racist. Like, well, what? People get
trap.
mad about stuff all the time.
People forget that we're all humans. Every human has anger. Every human. It's so frustrating how they want to polarize and divide us. And it's like, I refuse. I refuse. No. Everybody's human. Everyone bleeds the same way. Anyone could be an awesome person. Anyone could be an a-hole. Anyone.
Could be an a-hole.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the full.
But you're insulting people. Adam, I don't want that white rage in this room.
Oh my gosh.
No matter what you do, if it can ever be construed in any way as fitting their narrative, they will do that.
Have you ever seen me actually mad? I don't think you have.
No, not to like 11, but maybe like
No.
a 4.
Yeah.
That white rage, man. And then the other thing is the fragility.
Yeah.
The reason why she chose to use the word fragility is because it's a word meant to make someone angry.
Yeah, right.
So calling someone fragile is challenging their. So it actually is a very clever use of the word.
Yeah.
If it makes people feel like they're unsuited for survival, it's a challenge to someone's mental state.
Okay.
So people spend their whole lives developing a survival tactics, techniques, and worldviews because it helped them survive.
Mm-hmm.
Challenging that, so if you present someone with evidence that would fracture their worldview,
Yeah.
they'll have a mental breakdown. Mm-hmm. And that's the point of using the word fragile, so that when you're having a debate with someone, you can call them fragile, which is offensive, like a direct attack on their ego.
All I have to say is the word vegan. Hey, I'm vegan. But I mean, I don't say that because I don't care if people know or not.
The point is, calling someone fragile is an attack on their ego, which most people could be triggered by.
Yeah, we have to teach. People need to teach their children how to not be so fragile. Learn how to have a spine,
That's true, though.
thick skin.
Yeah. Like when someone people tell me
Yeah,
these
we
things.
gotta bring that back.
Like that guy was telling me I'd be first against the wall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, bro, your Facebook message doesn't.
How dare you?
I don't even care. I think it's funny, actually. I'm like, bro, you're like some scrawny dude in Chicago who works at like, Grubhub or something.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think's going to happen if you show up at my house?
It's bringing back to what Marcellus Wiley said. Everyone has the platform.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of, now I'm playing off of it in my own kind of view on it. It's everyone now, because the internet exists and we have this social media, everyone always goes to, I am the topmost expert in the field of your perspective. And that it just, people just ignore the rest of it, because they're the expert in their field, and they have a platform to show it. And because anyone can see it, the people that do see it and prop them up are the people that agree with it. So of course they think that they're right. And that's an issue. Reform 230.
Reform Section 230. Allow everyone back in the debate.
Allow everyone into the debate. Reform Section 230. That's huge.
Specifically,
it's huge. We really
to
need
clarify, to make sure you
Please
all know.
explain it all.
Section 230 means that Twitter, Facebook, and all these big websites are immune from libel prosecution for the things we say. If I post on Twitter, Adam Krigler is not really vegan, I saw him eat a cheeseburger. That's a lie.
Right.
Adam can't sue Twitter for being the platform on which it was published. He has to sue me. Section 230 guarantees that they are immune from these defamation suits and gives them the leeway to actually remove content they view as objectionable. Initially, objectionable was meant to mean like if someone posted murder or porn or something.
Yeah.
But now, because objectionable has no real interpretation, they just say, I don't know, if you say learn to code, that's objectionable. Banned.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen is the language needs to be changed to say legal. That they objectionable should be changed to illegal. That they are protected from libel lawsuits, defamation lawsuits, so long as in good faith they only remove content that is illegal.
Right.
There will still be false positives. You will still get banned if they think you are making a death threat or something.
Right.
However, for the most part, you can say whatever dumb opinion you want about whatever group of people, whatever, be it I hate communists or whatever, and they can't ban you for it. Because then they would lose their protections. And if they did ban you, then you'd file a claim, and then the government, then the feds would probably be like, you can't do this. Now, one of the problems too is they're trying to have it both ways. So I'm pretty sure there's been several examples where they've already been in violation of the law anyway.
Okay.
And they try and argue that removing certain things was objectionable anyway, when it, by any sane definition, it wasn't. Learn to code. Clearly, the platforms are already in violation of Section 230.
Yeah.
Hashtag learn to code is not objectionable. So what gives them the ground to remove that? I think the other part of it was harassing. So like Section 230 needs to be totally reformed. The only thing they can remove, illegal. And that will change everything overnight.
Yep. And
Free
cancel
speech.
participation trophies.
Yep.
Just a little cherry.
Cancel culture will be
cherry
over.
on top.
Yeah, it will be.
Cancel culture will be done.
Yep.
With 230 reform, because you still might get you still might get fired and stuff, but it will remove your banning from social media. So that means a large portion of cancellation, which is getting people banned through flagging, brigading, and strikes, would be gone outright. That means if somebody had a big channel, Alex Jones.
Yep.
Now, Alex Jones, they probably still could have banned because what he said something about grabbing your battle rifles, and they could argue incitement.
Oh, okay.
And then he would have to go to court and argue that it wasn't, and a court would decide if it was or wasn't. So Will Chamberlain of Human Events has argued that social media access should be a human right, and that if you ever get banned, you should be able to go to a court immediately and get an injunction to restore your accounts.
Yeah.
So Section 230 reform, and then I defer to Will, who's the actual lawyer.
Yeah.
But
Well,
how
I think
about
it's huge.
we jump over to
The super chat.
But first,
How dare you?
Oh wait, I meant
Wrong thing.
I needed my pillow. Smash that like button.
well, you had the pillow, you threw it. Smash.
I don't need the pillow. That's just a pillow.
Just a prop.
It's the feeling, it's the emotion that really counts.
Listen. Do you need to understand the importance of smashing that like button? Because it really does help the channel. But also, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Timcast. You can follow at Adam Krigler, Instagram and Twitter, and Parler as well. All of us on Parler.
That's true.
And of course, at Sour Patch Lids, LYDS. I got a pretty brutal super chat right here.
Oh, brutal,
Oh
huh?
boy.
Can you see it?
Oh,
Do you want to read it?
I can't read it from here, but
Let's see. Bloodlust Honor says, my girlfriend just dumped me over text. Have the money I was going to spend on our anniversary.
Oh man.
Painful.
Sorry, dude.
wow.
But thank you for the super chat.
You're better off.
Man, I'm sorry.
Have Tome says, as societies grow decadent, the language grows decadent too. Words are used to disguise, not to illuminate. Action. You liberate a city by destroying it. Words are to confuse so that at election time, people will solemnly vote against their own interests. Gore Vidal. Interesting. Do we have more on this? We don't. Okay. And then MH says, enjoy your book I sent you, Adam.
Oh, wait,
Thank
someone
you.
sent me a book?
They did. They sent you a book.
You guys open all the mail and don't tell me anything, so.
Well, it's probably not
I didn't
here
get
yet.
it, sorry.
It's not here yet.
It may not be here
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
We'll
I
tell
blame-
you
I
to
blame
send
you
me.
guys.
Someone
Okay,
sent us a
that's fine.
skateboard
Take
from
it.
1971. That's
That
really
was
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Where are we at?
Whoa, wait, hold on. Thank you for whoever just sent me a book.
There you
Very
go.
good.
You better let me know when it comes.
Renee Villarreal says, Tim and Adam, I recently left my job and moved back to my hometown to try and start my own business. My dream is to bring engineering jobs here, and I'm now organized to help places hurt by roots. Find a good way to help. Maybe there's a typo in there. I'm not sure.
Sounds awesome. I'm
Yeah.
really that's awesome. We need to boost our economy, small towns, bring it back.
Burris says, not sure if it works this way, but what happens when the entire state of California becomes a Native American nation and the Dems lose 55 electoral votes? Also, I sent you a message about firearms on Instagram. I mean, think about it. The ruling with Oklahoma is just the beginning.
Yeah, we didn't bring up that map that you were showing me earlier, which is like
I couldn't find it, yeah.
It was so good, but
So-
all of California is essentially
A Native American reservation.
a reservation that we
Literally
took over.
from border
the
to border. The whole
entire
thing.
state of
Yep.
California could just be gone.
So let's say that with this ruling on Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
we see an escalation in lawsuits, and they build off one another using this logic. It's interesting though because that means Washington, Oregon, and California.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ton of Democrat, electoral votes and representatives just gone. Makes it all federal territory.
What is going to be the United States?
So Wolfmane says they didn't give away half of Oklahoma. Land ownership hasn't changed. This only expanded the portion of Oklahoma considered tribal land for purpose of legal prosecution against tribal members for crimes within that area. And so, we brought this up, and the argument is from Roberts and from the state is that this will open the door and go further than that, though
Right.
the ruling itself is based upon whether the state has the right to prosecute certain individuals. But the argument has been made. They wrote it down. I'm imagining someone's going to take that and say, precedent, boom, here's the opinion. This is what they said. Then shouldn't this be the case? I'm willing to bet a ton of lawyers have just immediately launched a ton of lawsuits.
Yep.
And we'll see which ones make it. It'll take 20 years.
Yep,
We'll see
we're
what
going
happens.
to see it.
Saitama says, Tim, as a teacher in rural Alaska, which is Yupik land, my guess is OK will have a system like AK. You'll have both tribal and state government. Interesting. Flo says, with civil strife, the economy being put on hold because of COVID, and the rise of the radical left, it seems like the U.S. is fertile ground for the third position to make an appearance. Thoughts? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. You know what that is?
I do not. Let me look
No?
it up.
Is that fascism or something?
Maybe.
Andrew says, hey, Tim and crew. Take time to field strip, clean, and lubricate your guns. A well-oiled machine is a well-functioning machine. Also, did you know they make perfume out of whale vomit? It's called ambergris. Also, I'm adding that. Also, when is it socially acceptable to wear wood clogs? Always, please.
It's always.
I don't know, what are clogs for?
Whoa,
They're
whoa, whoa.
Dutch. That's cultural appropriation.
Whoa. They're not just Dutch. They're Swedish too.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've worn them myself.
I'm part Dutch, actually.
I actually,
you are.
I actually
Cool.
want a pair. There's this specific company that they've been making clogs forever, and they're actually crazy comfortable. All right, let me just say, I've worn them, like legitimate ones. They're comfortable. Yep, just throwing that out
Should
there.
always wear them.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
In before clogs are racist.
Okay.
So, Encris says, this is a fight for the soul of Western civilization. Europe has lost. Latin America never embraced its heritage. The day the U.S. loses, we will live under China's authoritarian boot. The
Yep.
UK defeated the Nazis. When the end was nigh, the U.S. must survive for the West to do so. I think China is dramatically more powerful than anyone realizes.
Absolutely.
They've been engaging in subversive tactics to gain control for decades.
Definitely.
We've given up our manufacturing base to foreign countries, and we're about to sign the TPP before Trump came in.
Nearly 100% of our manufacturing is over there.
Is Trump enough to stop China or just to slow it down?
We need more people to wake up.
Red pill. It's not even about the
Wake
idea.
up. Get involved.
man, we need unity.
Yep.
We need everyone to recognize the threat, but everyone's fighting each other, and it's perfect. China's an authoritarian government where everyone's forced to do whatever the state says.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not confident, man. Deus Flex says, U.S. Navy, 6 years. It's normal for military commands to have a diversity committee. Most of the time, they organize events such as Black History Month, MLK Day, but identitarian talking points are occurring more often lately. Yeah, it's seeping in, man.
Yep, it's changing.
It's taking over. Uriel says, I've been trying to contact you for the last 3 days. I was told to contact you by one of your employee about canceling them. Yes. I expect you to stand by your word and give him and his coworker a raise. Well, you didn't tell me who you were trying to cancel, so.
Oh.
And
Which,
him. Do you identify as a man?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm his coworker.
Yep.
I'm going to be giving a raise to a him.
Yes.
It'll be Tim.
It'll be Buku.
Oh, how
Who?
dare you? He peed in the corner.
He did.
I
So you
object.
admit it's not Bucko.
I use,
I'm going to take the win. Let's
right.
move on.
No. Hold on.
Next
hold on.
super
this
chat
needs to be addressed.
Is from
His
Wait,
biblical name is Bucko,
so derogatory.
and I call him
no
Buku.
one calls him that.
Nobody calls me Timothy. Nobody-
Sometimes. Very
yeah,
rare.
like when I'm getting yelled at.
No, I'm just
Timothy,
like,
get in here and
You two
clean
are
your
so
room.
cute.
no.
Timothy Daniel Poole. Using
Never
all three
that.
names. Oh no.
Only once. Ever.
Kaj says, these people have kindled a hatred in my heart. I often delve into dark part of mind when left to myself. I love this country and the freedom my ancestors fought for. Now I pray when I didn't before.
See, that's what I'm talking about earlier. They are trying to instill racism again.
Yeah,
That's all I see.
They're reactionaries.
100%.
They're just trying to convince everyone they're racist.
So listen.
and racism is everywhere.
Reactionary is a reference to the people who try to resist the progress and change.
Oh, okay.
And so what they do is a very clever tactic is to accuse your enemy that of which you do. And that's, I think that's one of the rules for radicals, right?
Yep.
Accuse your enemy of what you are doing.
Exactly.
That's what they do. So they call, say,
100%, yep.
me a reactionary.
Yeah.
When in fact, I'm proposing liberty and progress and upholding the revolutionary changes. What you need to understand is that before 1964, and even in most parts of the world today, identitarianism is the law of the land. Like most countries are ethnically homogenous.
Okay.
And so the United States passed a bunch of laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964,
Yeah.
the ruling Loving v. Virginia. And I say these are great things. We should continue to strive forward. What is the left doing? Repealing. The Democrats in California have repealed from their constitution. They voted to so far. It goes to the referendum in November.
Yep.
Removing. That is reactionary. They're trying to resist the changes brought about. No surprise. It's the Democrats.
No.
I'm not surprised.
I think
I'm
they're
not either.
projecting.
They were the original reactionaries over in the Civil War.
That's true.
And they're still today. And they accuse you of being the reactionary.
Exactly.
Reactionary is a reference to the French Revolution, where pro-monarchy groups reacted to the revolution and fought back. That's what it means. But now it's typically just used to reference anybody who resists, the revolution or whatever. They're not engaging in a revolution. They're trying to turn back the clock on freedom of speech.
Yep.
Freedom of speech as we know it is relatively new. It was a Supreme Court ruling that guaranteed these rights. We used to have morality rules. You weren't allowed to swear. It was obscenity rules.
Wow.
And then the Supreme Court made decisions about what you could and couldn't say, enshrining freedom of speech. In the 1900s, you could not live in the same building with someone of a different race. They are now proposing segregation. These are not new things. It's not a new revolution. They're
Right.
turning the clock back.
Yeah.
They're leftist
Insanity.
revolutionaries.
Yes, they are.
Reactionaries, I'm sorry. Not revolutionaries.
No.
Roger that trucker says, coin toss bounds for your employees. Smash that like button and spin the UAP. Oh, he said UAP.
I'm going to spin the UFO.
We got
The
the
unidentified
UFO.
aerial phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
That's the official terminology
What it
now.
is.
Yeah, but we know this is a UFO. Well, technically, it's identified. So it's
It's
an
a disc.
IFO.
Yeah.
It's flying. It's
a
an
flying
object.
disc.
Yeah.
Magnetic levitating disc. Here we go. Villa Music Dude says, I question, when we demonize white supremacy and Nazi symbolism, that we for some reason can't recognize the same evils of communism. I think we're in the period of normalization now of the subversive war, slowly but surely. It's really weird that you can see people walking around with communist flags and like nobody cares.
Right.
That's really, and not even communist, but Soviet. During there's a protest I was at in Boston. There was a guy on the left side flying a Soviet flag,
Wow.
not the communist flag. And so the first thing the guy tried saying is, I was interviewing a DSA guy. He's like, no, we don't. Nobody here is flying Soviet flag. And then when I pointed to it, he was like, oh, no, that's not ours. That's not ours. And someone else was like, that's actually not even a Soviet flag. That's just like communism, like it's ideology. It's nothing to do with the state. And then I pointed to the stars and they were like, oh, like, no, that's the Soviet flag, dude.
And tell me
The
again
Soviet Union
why you
killed.
hate the Confederate flag. Isn't it the same kind of thing?
Well, that
You know,
was
it's
that
like-
what was funny about it. One side, you had a bunch of people, and then someone was flying a Confederate flag. And then
Yeah.
this side, you had a bunch of people, and they were flying a Soviet flag.
just
But
two
here's the
different
well, hold on.
versions. Yeah.
In the front of each group,
Uh-huh.
what do you think the right was holding?
An American flag?
Shields.
Oh, shields.
And what do you think the left was holding?
Molotov cocktails?
Clubs.
Ah.
And bars and baseball bats.
And Siths.
One side was saying, don't tread on me. The other side was saying, we will tread.
Yep, that's a good point.
That's it. The authoritarians and the libertarians, man. The people
Yeah.
who say, leave me alone, let me do my thing. And the people who say, well, I'm gonna mess you up. Krista says, Republicans should amend the 230 protections to force companies to become material witnesses in these canceling attempts for civil defamation cases. Oh, I don't know about that. That would probably just shut them down. They get overrun with requests they couldn't actually handle.
Yeah, good point.
Silly Goose says, flooding in China. Three Gorges Dam. Have y'all spoken about this?
Has it broken yet or something?
Did it?
I know that it's they were saying that it's looking like it could break. There's fissures, cracks. Granted, I haven't looked into it in a few days, so
No idea.
It could have broken. I don't know.
Look at this. Rinsler says, historically, Democrats were for segregation. Democrats now are for segregation. Explain to me how the parties switched.
Right.
They didn't.
They didn't.
They just convinced more people to be on board with them under
Yep.
the guise of being progressive.
Being woke.
Socialism says, Tim, look into the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. It was put into place for situations like this. Interesting. Image says, what state you moving to? Should go to Iowa. You make plenty of Dubuque references. Do I? I've been there before, though, but not going to Iowa.
And we're not going to ever say where we go.
No one will ever know where we are.
No one will know.
It's because we're actually going to a gigantic underground bunker run by lizard people.
Oh, I thought we were going
Dude.
to space.
I'm not supposed
no,
to say
no,
that
we-
part
we-
of it.
We changed our minds.
No. You got it confused. The underground bunker can launch into space
Okay.
If need be.
That's where I was
when
confused.
the meteor comes to
All
destroy
right.
the. Oh, I mean, we're moving
Everything
to
will
New
be
Hampshire.
fine.
Yes.
New Hampshire.
Maine.
New Hampshire,
Maine.
Rhode Island.
Yes.
Not
Massachusetts.
no lizard people. Alternative said, did you watch Andrew Schultz on Sean King and Jesus? As a Christian, it's hilarious and pretty spot on. He even called King Snow J. Simpson. Dude, it was amazing.
To his face? I haven't seen that. but-
Andrew Schultz
Oh my goodness.
is amazing. His
He
bits
called
are
him to his face.
No. He did a segment.
Oh, okay. He was
where
just talking about him?
He talked about Sean King, and he probably had like 25
Whoa.
derogatory references
Oh man.
for Sean King, dude.
Jeez.
I don't know. I don't get it. Who likes Sean King? The activists don't like him. They're always
I don't
ragging
know.
on him.
Yeah, I guess so.
They always rag on him, like for mishandling funds and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's bad
I don't know,
about
man.
that.
Mavis says, so if the term master is racist, does that make the master from Doctor Who racist? Yes. Jake Johnson says, super conservative Texan here. Strongly disagree on a handful of things, but you guys are rational, honest people, so I watch you almost every video.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank
man.
you.
Thank you very much.
That's all that we ask, huh? You know, I think the thing is too, it's made this all really easy for like the crossover between liberals and conservatives right now, like real ones.
Yeah.
Is that we're not talking about the wedge issues anymore.
Right.
It used to be like, what's your stance on abortion? That was like the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Gay marriage, LGBT rights, like those are kind of not really big deals. The trans stuff for sure. There's a clear delineation between left and right.
Yeah.
But when you have like Joe Rogan is not conservative in any respect.
no,
Right.
it's
I
not.
guess on guns maybe, but he's challenged this stuff. He's talked about it all the time because he's an MMA commentator and he brings it up. So this is not even a clearly delineated policy debate on trans issues in sports.
Yeah.
But we don't. The only thing we're really talking about is fundamental rights at this point, and most Americans like their right to speak.
Yeah.
They don't want to be fired for saying wrong words.
Right, exactly.
But how many of them have no idea what's going on, and will just vote not in their own interests, because Joe Biden is
So we
Not
gotta
Trump?
we gotta not let people convince that we've lost. I won't do it. I'm gonna speak up. I'm speaking up louder than I've ever had before. Facebook people know who I
the
am.
Republicans have to sweep.
I think they are. I think they're going to. I
Listen.
think people across the country are. are waking up and are seeing what's going on to this country, and it is being torn apart, torn down, lied to. It's crazy.
If the Republicans win the Senate and the House,
Mm-hmm.
but lose the presidency, which would be kind of unheard of, then they'll try and pass 230 reform, and Biden will say no.
True.
If they don't win the House or the Senate, then they will not be able to pass 230 reform, and Trump can say please all he wants. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
There's no executive order he can do to actually make that happen unless there's an act of Congress to do something.
Yeah.
So they need every branch, every single one. Otherwise, these lawsuits will take decades if they want to make it to the Supreme Court, if it
That's
even,
true.
you know. So by then, conservatives won't exist. I talked to you about how the wheel rotates, right?
Yeah.
How like far right becomes gets banned, and then right becomes far right, and then center becomes right, and then left becomes center. They keep rotating the wheel. So you look at how, like, the Don Lemon thing is the best example. Don Lemon going on a rant talking about, you know, that Bill O'Reilly wasn't going hard enough on the black community.
Right.
So that was like back then. Don Lemon has shifted very, very far to the left now.
Very, very far.
And you look at what Bill O'Reilly said. If Tucker Carlson said what Don Lemon said, they'd be like off with his head.
Yeah.
So Tucker Carlson is like a moderate, and they're calling him a far right, white nationalist, and all these awful things because they're preparing to ban him. They're trying to cut his advertisers and get him shut down.
Yeah.
They're calling me a liberal conservative, and then in 2 to 3 years they'll be calling me far right. And so they're spinning the wheel all the way. There's a couple memes that are going around. They're hilarious, where it's got Bernie Sanders in the center,
Okay.
and they're like, Bernie Sanders is a centrist. They're really trying to push this, and they say, you're just confused, America, because so many of your politicians are far right that you don't realize that Bernie Sanders, an avowed socialist, is actually just a centrist. Bernie Sanders has proposed that 20% of corporate stocks be owned by the people.
Wow.
Like, that's not centrist at all, dude.
No.
That's fairly far left. Yeah.
Socialist.
Yeah. Let's see here. Johansson says, just waiting on Texas to say we've had enough and just walk away. After all, this is no longer the same country that it originally had originally been a part of, or any state. I mean, what happens then? Like, what happens if this jurisdictional, order from the Supreme Court? What happens if the state of Oklahoma says no? We're not going to give up our jurisdiction in this area. In fact, we
have
want
no
more.
idea. I don't know much about that specific part of the law. You know?
It's not about law. It's about them saying we don't care about the law. What happens if the governor of Oklahoma says nope?
Good point.
Bye-bye. Send in the troops. National Guard's called in. We don't care about your ruling, SCOTUS. This is our state, and we will not cede jurisdiction. What happens? Will the feds send in
knows?
soldiers?
Who knows?
The feds will send in DHS to go quell the uprising in Oklahoma. Then many other states panic and say that ruling negatively impacts us because now we're going to cede territory to past native tribes as well. So they join Oklahoma, forming hard lines. And then the catalyst for the Second Civil War is Native American rights. And then when the Union wins, and we get
no. Get it right. The catalyst for all of this is a rapist raping a 4-year-old. That's why they ruled. That's what this is about.
Yep.
And
Supreme
that
Court
blows my
sided with him.
mind.
They said, "Yep, this guy's right. His convictions should be overturned."
Yeah,
this
it's
guy is
disgusting.
right, of all people.
It's disgusting.
But the scenario is 10 other states have said they're at risk over this.
Yeah.
So now we start having debates over whether or not to give back Native American land. And many of these states say no, and then threaten to secede from the Union
Yeah.
because they will lose control of their entire state. This is a real conflict that, I'm not saying it's likely, but the seeds are there
Yep.
that are very similar to the previous Civil War. States being like, I'm not going to give the federal government the right for us to lose jurisdiction on our own state.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, the states declared sovereignty along like 10 years ago or something.
Okay.
And all that really means is they were asserting that they have the rights unto themselves to enforce their laws, to function as they see fit.
It is the United States of America.
Right.
Each state has become united to become America.
The reason Trump can't move in with all this unrest is because of the way the Constitution works, particularly the 10th Amendment, that the rights that are not, part of the Constitution or whatever are kept to the states.
Yeah.
So now SCOTUS is trying to tell straight up Oklahoma, it's not necessarily about the reservation. It's that the reservation is federal, under federal jurisdiction. So Oklahoma is cleaved in half in a certain respect. that it used to be Oklahoma controlling this. Now it's half Native American reservation, which then answers to the federal government, which is almost like another state, essentially. So Oklahoma says no. And they say, F you. And then they send in the National Guard to lock down the area, saying, we're not giving in. We won't do it. We won't let the federal government come and tell us half our state is gone. Or in terms of these criminal prosecutions. Or what happens if in 5 years, the arguments have escalated to the point where everything starts falling apart? Taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened today, right? So, the implications of all this is going to be a cascade effect.
They say it won't affect property rights and stuff like that. But I imagine
it won't.
It
they're
won't.
Saying? Okay.
Because it's supposed to be about criminal law. But how does that affect taxes if someone doesn't pay? There's a crime there, right?
Right.
So what's going to happen? They say
so they don't have to pay state taxes then.
Well, those changes aren't happening now. But what I imagine is someone will make an argument.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lawsuit. And they'll say, if this has historically been Native American territory, then why am I paying taxes to the state of Oklahoma? I should be paying taxes to the Native American tribe. And what'll happen is then you get what's the name of the tribe? Muskogee? Is that it?
I think that's right.
They'll say Oklahoma state taxes X%. We'll do X minus 1. And then everyone says, yep, I'm here. I'm part of this, not them. Then other states that are facing the same lawsuits make that move.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, we'll see, man.
Yeah.
Jackson says, don't forget tribal membership isn't based on blood. You can be made a member arbitrarily. You think, say, Jeff Bezos can't buy membership or anyone else who wants to be above local law. Interesting.
So my grandfather actually worked with Native Americans, and they found oil in some places, and they actually brought him in and gave him an honorary title. I'm not going to say it, but does that mean I'm part of that? It was my grandfather. So
I think you could apply.
That's a good question.
Does it travel through?
Was it their
blood?
nation?
So I guess. Well, I mean, it's.
I'm pretty sure a lot of these tribes offer up tribal citizenship to anyone who asks under certain conditions, because they want revenue, they want tax, they want industry.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong about this. It's not something I've researched. But I read somewhere that like you could renounce your U.S. citizenship to become a tribal citizen or something, which you're still under federal jurisdiction or whatever. So it's kind of.
No, I'm proud to be an American.
Let's see. Dark says, Tim, why aren't you on Parler? I have my assumptions, but will keep them to myself to not force a no-out situation from the question. I am on Parler. I'm literally on Parler at Timcast.
We all are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finish.
And I've got
the super chat.
He says, Adam, glad you're on there.
Yeah.
We're all on there.
We are. Yeah.
We are all on there.
I just wanted you to read it.
But there's one more important thing that must be said.
Smash that like button.
Oh, well, I was
Smash it.
I was going to say subscribe.
More important, smash the like button. You may finish speaking, Tim.
Maximum Weeb says, I'm Raj M., Indian immigrant refugee from New Jersey to Texas. After an incredible Mount Rushmore speech, highly recommend you watch I'm Definitely Voting for Donald Trump, but Libertarian all down ballot. The wild card here is Kanye West, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched it.
Dirty T says it does affect property rights. Every property owner just lost ownership of their land. It belongs to the tribe. Most reservations run a socialist type of government. So they say it doesn't, and they're going to cooperate. But the point I'm making is, especially when you look at the arguments by the state, is it will. Because the court said, listen, the court goes, this is only about federal crimes. That's the ruling we're doing. But it is true that this is a reservation and always has been.
Right.
Boom.
They're setting that precedent
Yep.
for all the cascade effect for many different things.
Now what happens is that the tribal leaders will start going business to business. They'll send out letters saying you owe the tribe X in taxes.
They can what is it? They don't know.
They'll decide.
Probably whatever they want.
And then the people are going to be like, do I have to pay this? And then tribal authorities can show up to your business and be like, lawsuits will ensue.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers will say, look at what the Supreme Court has already ruled.
Yep.
This is a reservation. These people illegally settled on this land. It was their choice. They could leave. Therefore, they owe taxes. If you were born in Chicago and then rented an apartment in Chicago, you can't go, well, I didn't choose to live here. No, you got to pay your taxes. So if the Supreme Court says that's jurisdiction, then what's to stop this from opening the door?
Yep.
Aaron says, Tim, this is a late one. Sorry, but just saying, as a Michigander who is in Hong Kong, I feel like I'm literally jumping from a frying pan into a fire as I try to escape HK with my family. Yikes, man. Well, hope you make it out. I think it would be great if the U.S. brought in a lot of as many people from Hong Kong who are willing to come here and relocate.
I mean, they clearly love America.
seriously.
They had a bigger parade than one I saw on July 4th. There was so many people filling the streets, carrying American flags, being proud of America. You know, you're welcome here.
Yeah.
People want.
Well, hopefully you get out safe.
Yeah.
But the bad news is, it is now beyond 10 o'clock. Oh, yeah. And for the sake of my voice, we must go to bed.
Tim must go to bed.
Yep. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the kitchen and eat one of those frozen mango popsicles that we have.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
3 or 4.
Or 3.
Maybe.
You
Totally.
both just chug them down.
They're
awesome.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, they're the
it's
best things
basically
ever.
just pureed mango frozen into a bar. You just,
How dare you?
oh, I
Yeah,
dare.
I dare too. Yeah, they're
And there's strawberry one. So I'm going to go sit back. I'm gonna enjoy that and then go to bed. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. live, as per usual, with clips up throughout the day.
Yep.
So make sure that you
Smash the like button. Smash, smash, smash.
and smash the subscribe button and the
Yes.
notification bell.
Tomorrow's
And-
Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Jam night.
We will play some music tomorrow.
We're gonna play some music, and actually, I'm going to be start doing my first live episode on TimcastIRL. Ian Crossland got back this week. Oh, I'm over here now.
Yep, sorry, I moved ya.
So you can actually find me on YouTube, TimcastIRL. So this Saturday night, we're going to be doing our first episode. Starts at 8, just like this show starts at 8. Really easy to remember. So you can find me over there, TimcastIRL on YouTube, and follow me, and you can watch the first show. It's going to be fun.
So do you know what you're going to be talking about?
First official show. I'm going to be deep diving into the idea of remakes versus remasters and what makes video games, what makes a game a good game. And we're going to be basing this on Dark Souls. So I'm going to really do a deep dive on what makes Dark Souls such a good game, and comparing it to other games that I've played in my life. And me and Ian's a gamer also. So if you're into games, that's going to be our first episode. We were going to do a deep dive on Carl Sagan, but I don't know if I'm going to do a full 2 hours. I think I might just do like one subject per episode. So this Saturday, 8 p.m., you can check me out. And yeah.
Very cool.
So, right on, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget on your way out to smash the like button, and we will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Bye, guys.
Good night.